Turn it on and rip the knob off.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wrestling Memory Grenade, episode 38, and you know what that means? It is time for the WWF's WrestleMania IX watch-along here in 1993. I'm your host, Ray Russell. Joining me this episode of the Grenade, of course, Mr. 1993, Steven Extat. Welcome. Are you ready for WrestleMania IX watch-along?
Of course, man. This is my go-to sometimes. I enjoy this show. I can go back and watch it a lot, and I don't mind it. So absolutely 100% ready to go. Do
you mind telling the people out there, what was the date? What date did this show occur on?
April 4.
April 4, 1993. WrestleMania IX watch-along is here. We've already done the Royal Rumble. It's in the books. We covered February and March of WWF television, and now here we are. We've made it all the way to April 4th television. And April 4 is WrestleMania IX Day, and that's where we are right now. Guys, I want to thank everybody out there in social media land, hopping on over to our Facebook account, facebook.com/WrestlingGrenade. All of the follows and likes there. Continue to follow. Tell your friends. Tell them to follow us, like us there. We're constantly adding new footage, new videos, new pictures, other fun things, all kinds of good stuff there on Facebook. Of course, YouTube, we have over 90 subscribers already. We only need 100 to get a vanity URL, so we're already almost there, Steve. A few more people, just go on over to YouTube, type in Wrestling Memory Grenade. All of our shows will pop up. Lots of 1989 NWA already. Lots of 1993 WWF and USWA already on the YouTube account, and much, much more to come, including territory stuff and all kinds of other fun stuff. We're even going to take our podcasts and put them on YouTube as well here in the coming weeks as well. The Memory Grenade, Monday Warfare, even Tom Robinson, TR Shocks the World. We're going to move. We're not leaving the podcast world, but we're going to add them to our YouTube as well. So it's a good time to subscribe to our YouTube account.
Yeah, it's a treasure trove of great footage and everything there over at YouTube. So definitely, if you can, go subscribe. That way we can get that vanity and make it a lot easier to find us.
And a final reminder, you guys can always listen to us, obviously, on our home station, the WrestleCopia.com website, home of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, which covers all of our podcasts. Of course, Monday Warfare, and like I said, obviously the Memory Grenade, TR Shocks the World, the Power Hour, and beyond. But guys, we're everywhere. You can listen to us on all your favorite podcast streaming apps, Apple Pod, Spotify, Google Pod, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Audible on Amazon, iHeartRadio, so many more out there. We're everywhere, Steve.
Yeah, there's no excuse not to be able to find us.
Absolutely not. And of course, you can always go to our home base Twitter, and that you guys can follow us there on Twitter at Wrestling Grenade. As always, that's at RASSLIN Grenade, home of the free prize giveaway. And recently we just gave away a Brutus the Barber Beefcake autographed promo pic, 8x10. Ooh, a little scary. And it was just in time for Halloween. I'm sure we got some more fun things coming up, maybe in time for Thanksgiving. We'll let you guys know in the upcoming episodes of The Grenade. But for right now, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook for your chance to enter and win future free prize giveaways. All you have to do is follow us to win. It's just that simple, Steve. If you're not clicking the follow button, you're just too damn lazy.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm looking for things. Can't give any spoilers for future giveaways, but there's stuff stashed away for when we get to different, times of the year for 93, the things that we're going to be doing after 93 is over. So constantly adding and getting things to be able to give away to all you great folks. So definitely like, follow, retweet, get us out there. The more followers, the better off we're going to be.
Absolutely. And I got to add too, it's the fall season. I'm moving things around in my basement. I'm taking the patio furniture, putting that away. I'm doing all kinds of things. And in the midst of that, I'm going through all of my old magazines. I'm finding a bunch of old great magazines I'm looking to probably give away here over the course of the fall and winter, throughout the course of the Thanksgiving season, the Christmas season, into the New Year. So look for those too. I'll be giving away some magazines coming up here in the next couple months. Should be a good time. And of course, as always, please, we invite you guys to help keep us alive, help cover the bills, so to speak, by going to our Patreon account. That's at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. 14 tiers of goodies there, guys, ranging from a $1 tier. I know everybody has $1 in their pocket or in their PayPal account. $1 tier, Steve, all the way up to a $100 tier. We offer all kinds of great goodies there. But my favorite tier, it's simply $5. $5, guys. An all access tier. There's no obligation. You don't have to continue if you're not happy, but we think you're going to enjoy it because it covers all of the gifts that are given away on the lower tiers underneath the $5 tier. But it also includes what, Steve? It's our watch along series. It's our favorite thing we do there. On Patreon, we cover everything from Clash of the Champions, Saturday night's main event, WWF and WCW pay-per-views, and most recently, Steve, what did we just cover?
March to WrestleMania IX. So it's a great complimentary piece to this show and the last episode of The Grenade. It kind of completes the package there. And
for anyone wondering what March to WrestleMania IX was, back in the day, there were things called USA Specials. They were 2-hour events. They usually happened a week prior to the pay-per-view on USA. A lot of competitive matches, something you didn't get back in those days. And for instance, on March to WrestleMania IX, we covered Yokozuna versus Randy Savage, Bam Bam Bigelow versus The Undertaker. Even on the undercard, some fun things. We saw the Beverly Brothers team up with Little Louie versus the Bushwhackers and Tiger Jackson, and a mixed tag there with midgets and big guys. And we even saw Mr. Perfect take on Skinner. And of course, that crazy Mega Maniacs video that everybody needs to be a part of. Everybody, God. It's worth the $5 for that alone. Not only do we play the audio of the actual promo, it blew my mind, between Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake, but we comment on it as the promo continues on. It's well worth it, Steve. Well worth it.
Yeah. That's all you can really say. It's worth $5 to not only hear the promo, but also to hear our commentary.
And that's just the March to WrestleMania IX. That's not all the other watch-along series we already have in the bag over there. You guys can listen for hours and hours and hours. We've even done a ton of Coliseum videos, the old Coliseum home videos from the WWF over there. There's a lot of great stuff there in the watch-along series on patreon.com/WrestleCopia. And again, that's the all-access tier, only $5 a month. And we're getting into the pay-per-view here. We're getting ready for WrestleMania IX, but before we do, there's one guy who didn't make the card, Steve, and it bums me out like no other. There is this fellow who's been really racking it in. I think he's the reason we have so many followers at this point.
If you say so.
Well, I mean, I've gotten more feedback on, I get messages that just say, Virgil of the Week, hell yeah, and shit like that on my DMs and things on Twitter and in social media. So apparently it's working to some degree. We have a new segment we've created here in the 1993 WWF series. It's called the Virgil of the Week, and what it is simply a Virgil promo. Yes, you remember Virgil, good old Virg, meat sauce. We play, sometimes we play more than one, but typically at least one promo every week from Virgil. I try to make them from this era. So far they have been. And people really enjoy old Virg, and we have a little fun at his expense as well. And just in time for WrestleMania, I thought this was fitting. I recorded it from an early January episode of TV, but this is Virgil talking to Yokozuna. I figured Yokozuna's going for the belt here against Bret Hart in the main event of WrestleMania. So what better time than let's hear what Virgil has to say to Yokozuna.
92 was hot as ever, man. And I'm glad all these good people all over the world stuck through Virgil through thick and thin. But check this out. We got 1993 coming. Yeah, and we got all kind of new, strong, crazy superstars coming in here now in the WWF. Take one, for instance, Mr. Fuji. He went to the Far East and he brought back this big, gigantic 500-pound sumo wrestler. Well, check this out, man. I like my food fried, dyed, laid to the side. So I'm going to bring a big trash can for this big sumo. And I'm going to love going against all these new guys in the WWF because I'm ready.
Virgil likes his food fried, dyed, and laid to the side. Last I checked, that was an African-American hairstyle, or slang for one anyway, decades ago. But he likes his food that way too, Steve.
Oh my God. And they stuck through Virgil through thick and thin.
Yeah, they kept letting him cut promos because nobody would show up during these generic promo days. Who's here? Oh, it's Virgil, Repo Man, and Skinner. Okay. Let's just...
It's sad those are the canned ones. The local ones are so much better.
Yeah, I mean, there are some local ones coming up in the weeks to come, but I thought that was perfect for the Yokozuna episode or WrestleMania episode because it involves Yoko in the main event. And what killed me was talking about, Yokozuna and food and fried, died, and laid to the side. And if you're from my era or any era prior to mine, you really get that, and you're really laughing right now. Absolutely ridiculous, the Virgil promo there. Speaking of music, and I guess we weren't speaking of music, but we were talking about promos and stuff. That takes me to a promotional music video that's been going on WWF TV here for the last couple of weeks. For the last several years in the WWF, everybody's come to know that beautiful music that we all come to love. Right, so we all love that WrestleMania. At least I did. I mean, it just got me pumping. Even today when I hear that, it's you got to love that music video. But in 1993, Steve, they decided it was time to come up with a new wrestling theme. And even though they did play the old one sometimes here, going into the actual pay-per-view, we got that new music video. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, Steve. Yeah, that one right there. What were your thoughts on that song? Like when you first heard it, like, well, you're like, oh, that was cool. That's something different. Or were you like, where's my old WrestleMania theme?
Well, as like a 5 or 6 year old kid, like I didn't really, you kind of like the rap stuff. So it's unique and different. As a kid, I probably didn't mind it. It was up tempo, and my friend used to sing it all the time and make fun of it. So
you can definitely make fun of it.
Yeah, we used to make fun of it. So no, it's okay. It is what it is.
I'll tell you what. I'll say this much for it. Until I realized it was supposed to be the replacement for the old theme, I was fine. I'm like, oh, they do music videos now. Very cool. I enjoyed it. I'm like, but don't get rid of my old song, please. So that's where we're at with that. On behalf of the Wrestling Memory Grenade and the WrestleCopia brand, we are proud to announce our very own Patreon account. We encourage everyone to stop on over to patreon.com/WrestleCopia and check out an amazing 14 tiers. And depending on your budget, we have everything from as little as a $1 tier to as much as a $100 tier. Get you all sorts of exciting offers. It really all depends on what offer you value the most. You can do anything from join Steve and I right here as co-hosts for an episode of The Grenade, all the way down to unedited versions of the show, early access to upcoming episodes, beat everyone else to the punch, see what we're saying before everyone else gets to hear it, plus my insanely detailed show notes, which I value ever so dearly. You can even pick the flick, and what that means is, if you subscribe to one of our You Pick the Flick tiers, you'll tell us, me and Steve, what show it is you want us to review. It can be a watch-along on the WWE Network, YouTube, Daily Motion. It can even be a live review of a rare show from my personal archive vault of videos at home. No promotion, no territory, no era is off limits. You can request anything from your favorite WrestleMania to an episode of 1982 World Class to the 60-minute classic between Jack Briscoe and Dory Funk Jr. from 1970's All Japan. Hell, if you want to put us through the misery, we'll even pull a Mystery Science Theater over here and watch Hell Comes to Frogtown starring Roddy Piper. You tell us what you want us to review, and we'll do our own little watch-along and do our best to entertain you guys and give you guys insight in the process. And it doesn't end there. There's a $5 tier, the all-access tier. Not only do you gain access to everything on every lower tier, but you'll also have complete access to our entire full library of random show reviews and watch-alongs we've done and continue to do as a side project. We review everything from the Flair Steamboat 2 out of 3 fall match from Class 6, all the way down to the Halloween 1985 edition of Saturday Night's Main Event. It's a proverbial hodgepodge of randomness, as you never know what we'll review next. And it's exclusive to the all-access tier or any of the higher tiers over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. Check it out now. That address again is patreon.com/WrestleCopia. That's Wrestle C-O-P-I-A. Okay, so guys, you guys might know this from later on. There were pre-show matches on the free-for-alls in the mid-90s and beyond. We had a lot of pre-shows and countdowns and things with matches that took place prior to the actual pay-per-view. In fact, we still have them today, the pre-show match, if you will. But back in the day, they were referred to as dark matches. They were matches that we never got to see. We were never even informed occurred And the entire purpose of them were to, A, get the crowd pumped up, kind of get the crowd going, but they also served as a way to allow the cameras and the lighting and all these other guys to get everything just right for the actual pay-per-view. So you'd have a match in the ring, and while the light guys and the camera guys and maybe even announcers, we'll see in this instance, were getting prepared for the actual pay-per-view, it was also a way to warm up the crowd, so to speak. No different here at WrestleMania IX, Steve. It's going to be Papa Shango taking on El Matador Tito Santana, which actually aired on the WWE Network before they moved to Peacock. It may still be available, I'm assuming, internationally on your guys' WWE Network. I'm not really sure. I don't believe it's made the transition, unfortunately, to the Peacock. However, if you simply go to Google and type in Papa Shango versus El Matador, WrestleMania IX, I can only guarantee you that a video will pop up somewhere, someplace, because that's what I've done, and it is available. And I thought it was kind of important to get the full fight feel, to get that pre-show match in there, but because you get to see the crowd and it's fun and all that good stuff, but it's also marks the actual first time that Jim Ross, they send him out there early. That's why he's already at ringside when WrestleMania begins. They send him out here early to do a Joey Styles gimmick, basically. He's doing commentary by himself for this match to kind of warm himself up for the live crowd. For the first time ever, Jim Ross making his WWF debut at WrestleMania, of all places, Steve.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't think anyone's ever done it before or will do it going forward. So pretty remarkable.
Good word for it. And we're going to pick this up. We're actually going to pick up the opening introduction here. Papa Shango making his way out to the ring just to hear Jim Ross for a minute or so, get the first idea of what Jim was like here, calling the action on the pre-show, the match that never aired, really, between Papa Shango and Tito Santana. It's kind of cool that it exists. It's kind of cool that Jim Ross got to do commentary for it, and that's where we're at here. We're going to listen to audio for a few seconds there, and we'll come back to us. I'm going to count you guys down for those who have the WWE Network, who still have this, and for those who are picking it up here on, I'm not going to name where it's at online, but like I said, if you Google El Matador versus Papa Shango, WrestleMania IX, you can find it online. And I'm going to count you guys down. Steve, if you're ready to watch this, we're going to pick this match up in 3, 2, 1, press play.
This contest is scheduled for one fall. Coming down the aisle, weighing 330 pounds, Papa Shango.
And I guess we'll pick Jim Ross up here during the match, Steve, but if you notice, a lot of the floor seats are still empty. Lots and lots and lots of rows just completely empty still because, hey, we're in Vegas and they're gambling up until baby. Yeah, that's right, late arrivers.
Late arrivers.
Absolutely. But they did sell out. Whether they gave it with tickets away or not, I don't really know at this point. I haven't looked too far ahead in the observers. I really didn't get any information when I did try. Papa Shango with that smoking skull, and here he comes, Tito Santana, making his final WrestleMania appearance. 9 in a row, Steve. That's hard to do, especially back then. 1 through 9. I know Tito didn't make the pay-per-view here, but he's here on the show no matter what. He's walking out into Caesar's Palace. Tito Santana is here for 9 years in a row.
Him and Hogan. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. It's Tito and Hogan, who unfortunately Hogan finds his way into 9 here and makes sure he continues that streak as well. Neither of them make WrestleMania 10 though. So this is it. This is everybody's streak is broken from WrestleMania 1 after this one.
Pretty remarkable.
Let's pick up old Jim Ross here. I'm sure he's a little anxious here. Let's see what he has to say.
300-pound plus Papa Shango, the voodoo master, and the technical expertise and the quickness and speed of the extremely proficient Tito Santana. And Papa Shango not starting off certainly very sportsmanlike.
Shango kicking Santana's gear into the crowd. I don't know Tito Santana personally, but he comes off as a very cheap man. No offense. Although he's rocking new gear here, or at least by my estimation, the gold, Tito Santana wearing gold pants here.
They need to make an elite figure of that. We need the gold and pink right here.
The Tito Santana WrestleMania IX dark match figure. Absolutely.
Let's do it. I'd buy it. I would buy it.
You would buy it. I wouldn't.
I'd buy it. I would buy it. I like it.
Complete with headlock action.
I need a headlock on Hunger banner to come with it too. That'd sum up 93.
You know, I was just thinking Tito should have main evented that headlock on Hunger show, because nobody gets a better headlock than Tito Santana. And
exactly,
kind of rough. Shango
over the top here.
Yeah, Tito drops down and Shango with a bump. He was like 3 feet away, but whatever. Tito going to take it to Shango on the floor here. These guys worked also. They worked at SummerSlam 92, which I think the match aired over in England on their lengthier version of the pay-per-view, but it did not make...
Oh, Tito coming off.
Oh, high crossbody. Shango float over too. Oh, he's hooking the tights. I don't know how the referee saw that, considering the trunks were on the other side. Tito with a roll-up, schoolboy. Oh, I would have liked it if Tito grabbed some trunks there as well.
Yeah, didn't you say he was working heel a little bit? Doing some heel things at that house
that tag team match on Raw. I think it was Tito and Virgil against Money Inc. Tito was doing it was fun. It was fun heel stuff. It wasn't like I'm an asshole heel, but he was making faces at Virgil afterwards. I was so hoping for that heel turn there. Unfortunately, it never happened. Yeah, I think at this point that's where you pull the trigger on that. You turn him heel. If it doesn't work, he was leaving anyway, right? So you give it a go.
Shot.
Otherwise, you might get another 6-month run out of him.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much against Virgil. But yeah, like I think you brought up like maybe like a Tatanka or something, which you could do. That would be a nice house show feud throughout the summer.
Yeah. Heck, even Marty, after when he comes back and what he goes through, I wouldn't mind a Tito Marty match. That wouldn't be bad.
These guys
Shango with the leapfrog and dropkick.
Yeah, well, he missed the dropkick, but yeah. Charles Wright leaves his feet twice in a matter of 5 seconds. That may be the only time we ever see that. But these guys, I was just about to say these guys are moving at a snail's pace, and then Papa Shango busts out a leapfrog and a dropkick of all things. So,
and what do you know, an armbar?
I think Undertaker was backstage. He's like, I got you in this spot, so get out there and do something. All right.
I will say, though, hearing Jim commentate WWF, just feels weird.
Yeah, you know what? Let's pick him up again while you're speaking that. Let's pick Jim Ross up again right now.
Papa Shango reasserting himself offensively in this opening contest at WrestleMania IX. The opening ceremonies.
Yeah, JR is definitely lost right now as far as WWF language goes. He's got that WCW drawl still. Yeah. Ross has always had the Southern accent, which I'm not against, but it was still very different. And here too, it's more like he's very quiet. You know what I mean? Like he's not like overexcited. Whereas if you go back and listen to his Mid-South stuff, his UWF stuff, oh my God! Basically what we got during the Attitude Era is what we got back in the UWF is what the Jim Ross. And then WCW, I mean, it was kind of a mixture of in between. He mellowed out for national purposes, but at the same time, he was still excited. And here, and you could say it's because of the pre-show, but I don't know that I don't know if anything in this entire pay-per-view feels authentic coming out of Ross's mouth. And I'm not knocking him at all. I thought he did a good job. He did a fine job throughout the show, but it just felt like he was still trying to find himself, it's his first night here and it's WrestleMania.
Yeah, I never picked up on that. I thought him and rapport, and it sounded like he was more comfortable dealing with Macho. He's probably still learning how to handle Heenan to a degree. I know they get accustomed and acquainted, with Wrestling Challenge, but
and chocolate cake.
I thought it was just a little weird as far as because Jim Ross has that pro sports type commentary to him,
right? Whereas
Vince and Gorilla, those guys are more telling a story and
selling the
telling
product.
The story of what WWF selling the product, just shills for the product. But Jim Ross is trying actual sporting event, like the contest, and
there's your drop kick
by Shango. There it is. But no, it just felt different because it like WCW, they kind of was when he was the main guy, was more of an athletic contest, more realism and things like that, and that's what he portrayed. And then he comes over here, and it's like you're used to Vince McMahon Raw and all that shit. And
right.
It's like the complete 180. It's complete opposite. I don't mind it. It's weird to hear WWF in that prism of what Jim Ross was and stood for.
Yeah, I mean, it was clearly two different, types of wrestling at that point in time. And Jim Ross definitely had never had to say Voodoo Master, before in his entire career, I'm sure, up until that introduction
right.
of Papa Shango there. So, but he's going with the flow. I mean, he's introducing Papa Shango as the Voodoo Master. So JR's got it. I mean, he gets it. It's like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. And I'm sure he was excited. It's a new place, and this is the big leagues, man.
It doesn't get any bigger than this. This is
Tito,
WrestleMania. This is the biggest card you're going to do.
Tito Santana making the comeback here, knee lift, and he's calling for the old flying forearm. He's going back old school Tito here. Let's see if he connects. Here it comes. Boom! Whoa, Papa Shango sidesteps the old flying forearm. Should have went for his new finisher, that El Paso de la Muerte. Because, that was deadly. Let's see what we got here. Papa Shango, just a nice simple suplex. But we're only a minute away from this footage ending, so I'm thinking here we go with the fit. Papa Shango go to the top rope. Ooh, this doesn't sound good. Yeah, this is not pretty. I'm hoping Tito moves for his own sake here. Shango misses I think a flying elbow. And Tito, 1, 2. Oh my God.
For Tito Santana making his 9th consecutive appearance at WrestleMania, Shango took a big chance that did not pay off. And the technical expertise of Santana prevailing here, hooks the leg, and it's over.
It's kind of funny there. Jim Ross announces that it's Tito's 9th consecutive appearance at WrestleMania. Do you think Jim Ross studied that? I mean, prior to coming to the company, did you think he knew that? Absolutely not. This is a guy who was determined to get all the facts and get all the information and sound competent going into the show. And this is the pre-show. This is the dark match. This didn't air, you know what I mean? So, and he's still getting these facts correct. This is Tito's 9th consecutive WrestleMania. So good job by JR there.
Yeah, he's a pro's pro. That's just somebody who cares and wants to make a good impression. Good job on him.
And all right, guys, you know what that means with the pre-show, the dark match. I keep calling it the pre-show, obviously. With the dark match out of the way, it's time for the actual pay-per-view. It's WrestleMania IX. So many big matches coming up. We've got Bret Hart defending the title against Yokozuna in the main event. Of course, the Mega Maniacs looking to capture the tag titles from Money Incorporated. Tatanka looks to take the Intercontinental title. The undefeated Tatanka looks to take the Intercontinental title from Shawn Michaels. Crush looking for revenge on Doink. The Undertaker looking for revenge on the Giant Gonzalez. A bunch of other fun things in between. And Razor Ramon and Bob Backlund's in there somewhere too, Steve.
Don't remind me.
I hate to leave anybody out, so I just remember the Steiners and the Headshrinkers as well. But it's a fun little show, I think, the way I remember it anyway. It's been a long time, but we're going to get going. It's WrestleMania IX, guys. Cue it up on the Peacock, cue it up on the WWE Network, wherever you're listening from. We're going to count down in just a few seconds. Now, if you have the Peacock and you're paying that $9.99, obviously there's no commercials throughout, but if you're paying that $4.99, there are commercials. That's okay. I don't blame you. You guys probably have to pause us every time you cut to a commercial there on the Peacock, though, and pick us back up on the other side. Just a reminder, I'm just saying. But we're ready to count you down. Steve, if you got it all queued up, we're going to count down and get ready to go.
I'm ready to roll.
All right, guys, let's count you down. We're going to pick up WrestleMania 9. We're going to play a little audio going into the show. We're going to pick up the opening, and we're going to count you guys down. We're going to press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play.
Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas, Nevada, site of WrestleMania IX. Here is your host, Gorilla Monsoon.
Welcome to Caesar's Palace. Welcome to WrestleMania IX and the largest toga party in the world. I could get used to this. There'll be a lot of firsts here in WrestleMania IX, and here's one of them. Latest addition to the WWF broadcast team, Jim Ross.
Thanks very much, Gorilla Monsoon. Indeed, it will be a day of firsts, ladies and gentlemen. My very first WrestleMania. First time that yours truly from the great state of Oklahoma has ever been in a toga myself. This is quite an impressive outfit. And I, too, Gorilla, could get used to this. What do you think of these gold shoes? How will those play in Tulsa? What a day. My first day to meet a Centurion. And this guy is in great shape, which is a smile, because we're going to have a great time. Over 16,000 fans and a worldwide television audience. What a day it's going to be. Two tremendous main events. You're going to see Bret the Hitman Hart defend the WWF Championship against the 505-pound Yokozuna. And indeed, Hulkamania will run wild when Hulk Hogan and Brutus Survivor Beefcake, the Mega Maniacs, challenge Money Incorporated for the WWF Tag Team Championship. It is.
So here we go. It's Jim Ross out there making his debut. I got to tell you, my first initial thoughts when I was watching this live was, oh, why is Gorilla Monsoon not commentating this show? And then he throws it to Jim Ross, and I had no idea Jim Ross was coming to the WWF. So and I knew Jim Ross. I watched WCW for years, so I knew who he was. So what the hell is going on here? As we got, here we go. Cleopatra coming out in the elephant trunk, and Caesar on top of the elephant. So they're doing their little pageantry here. They did do a good job building up this arena. If you guys ever try to look this up, Google the image of what this arena looks like without all of the pillars and all this other stuff. It's just a plain random arena with nothing in it. It's not even made like your typical arena. There's not advertising and all this other stuff on the walls and things. It's very flat, very bland. There's none of this is going on. There's no gold. There's no 4 pillars there above the ring, as you see. So they did a very good job for what it was worth. I think they've covered that in some documentaries and stuff since that time. But I'm going to go back real quick with you because I'm curious, obviously you were younger. I don't really want to get into age necessarily. I'm just curious, even now, like just in later days in your life, seeing Jim Ross, it was very pivotal to see this new guy and he gets handed WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was different. Like obviously the age, you don't understand the business when you're like 6. I'll stop saying that, but I was 6 years old, but I knew Jim Ross. I mean, I watched some WCW, and my friend that was here, we watched the show together. My best friend that I grew up with, he watched WCW all the time, so he knew who Jim Ross was. And when they went to Jim Ross,
Cleopatra's got some knockers there. Sorry, man. Just
I mentioned that last time on the Rumble watch along.
It was my turn.
Anyways, so he knew who Jim Ross was, and my friend, he did a great job of like hyping me up or informing me of these WCW people because I didn't watch it very much, if at all. So he made it a big deal, like, oh, that's Jim Ross, that's crazy. So I knew it's a big deal. Like I knew that much of it, but very cool. I like it now. I thought Jim Ross does an excellent job on this show. I know the show's bad, but you could never tell if you just listen to Jim Ross and not really.
He's excited to be there. He's good. I mean, like he gets Hulk Hogan. I mean, it's not a big deal to me, but he gets Hulk Hogan on his first day back. Hulk Hogan's back. I mean, Jim Ross gets thrown some good stuff here on paper anyway. To deal with. And he puts it over. Here comes Randy Savage out here, as promised, on the sedan with the Still Virgins. He was looking forward to that. And here they are escorting Randy out to. That was another bummer for me. Because we like everybody I talked with, we questioned for weeks, why isn't he on the card? We just saw him work Yokozuna at that March to WrestleMania, but we kept wondering, why is Randy Savage not wrestling? So whenever Randy got stuck, when we assumed he was active in the ring, we always questioned why he wasn't on the pay-per-view versus why he was doing the announcing. It just didn't make any sense because he was clearly in and out of the ring still, so he's very capable of doing so. So it kind of threw us off. And I'm sorry, everybody that was looking forward to the audio out there of Jim Ross announcing he's normally Howard Finkel, but tonight he's Finkus Maximus. That's Howard Finkel's name here at Little Caesars for WrestleMania IX. I should point out here, April 4.
He looks like $1 million, and Jim Ross does a hell of a job putting him over. He's like if Macho was around in the Roman times, he would have been the fiercest gladiator of them all. So Ross did a great job, even with this corny stuff here that they're doing that he probably never dealt with in WCW. I know they had their own crazy stuff like Oz and things, but
this ostrich is not wanting to cooperate. It doesn't appear.
No, definitely not.
Yes, there's an ostrich at WrestleMania IX. Another reason to go check it out on the Peacock.
I actually enjoyed this stuff as a kid. I thought it was cool.
I thought it wasted too much time. I didn't know what was going on. We had never gotten an opening like this before, where like the announcers are getting entrances. Bobby Heenan riding the camel backwards, obviously, to the ring.
This is the only reason they did it right here. It's for Bobby.
Just so Bobby Heenan could ride the... Yeah, you know, it's so funny how much footage you've seen in recent years of what exists of before, I mean, behind the scenes, backstage, filming Bobby getting on the candle backwards, filming Vince McMahon telling Shawn and Luna when to go out, and all of the other during the daytime pictures and video footage just of guys walking around and stuff. It's like they documented the whole entire day on video. So I think they could they could put a whole documentary together of this day because it was such a different, special day.
Do it, but yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, well, this is plenty of time. We got plenty of time to talk about it right here. Bobby trying to get off the camel.
Yeah. But I just like I mentioned the true story of WrestleMania on the DVD there when they got to 9, like they showed so much stuff there.
Yeah,
and like you said, it just makes you. So they had to have recorded everything.
Oh, Bobby,
showing
nice. Well, let's look at your tidy. No, those aren't white, blue underwear here. Bobby's matching today. He's got the blue toga with the blue underwear on. Hanes, maybe some Fruit of the Loom. I don't know. But Bobby said he wasn't going to wear a toga, and here he is anyway in the toga. Hey, if Gorilla Monsoon's wearing a toga, you better believe Bobby is.
That's right. I need a bath. And then Ross is like, well, I'm just happy to work with you, Bobby.
So that's our announce team right there. You see him in front of your faces, Jim Ross, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and the Macho Man Randy Savage. Ross has never worked with these guys ever before. Well, he's worked with Bobby. I think they've already done some recording for some Wrestling Challenge shows, actually. So he's been in the studio with Bobby and done some, video announcing over some videos. But this is live. And it's not just live. It's freaking WrestleMania live. So Ross has really got to, bring the A game here. Is Fingus Maximus. Let's listen to the ring introduction here. The opening anyway.
Federation's Intercontinental Championship. About to come down the aisle from San Antonio, Texas, weighing 240 pounds, the World Wrestling Federation's Intercontinental Champion, Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels makes his way to the ring, but I want to know what's behind it. What is that behind it?
I'll tell you what that is. That is Luna Vachon. She comes from the greatest wrestling family in the history. Her uncle is Mad Dog Vachon.
Is it a horse? Is it a what?
And her father is the Butcher Vachon. And you know, last year, 1992, she won Miss Ontario.
So here we go. Luna Vachon makes her WWF debut at WrestleMania in the corner of Shawn Michaels. Moving forward, it makes absolutely no sense other than what they're looking to go for with Luna. But accompanying Shawn, it's like he never even acknowledges her. Not once here, as if she's even there. Even though she follows him out to the ring, she's standing in the ring with him right now. She's in his corner during the match. Shawn never even plays to her once. So you have to wonder, Shawn being Shawn, did he not want this? And so he just was Shawn here and purposely ignored her?
He didn't want this. He did not. He didn't want any part of it.
And so they brought Luna
in. To be fair, Tatanka does like 2 things for Sherri until the end. So I don't think either guy wanted it. And I think what stinks is they did a really good job of building up this match with Tatanka getting the 2 wins. And then all of a sudden you get the Luna and Sherri side piece into this feud, and I feel like they probably feel a little slighted a little bit. I know Shawn probably does. Sherri hasn't been around the whole time with Tatanka, then all of a sudden at WrestleMania she pops in with him. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
yeah, Sherri basically gets plugged in with Tatanka because Tatanka replaces Marty Jannetty here. This was supposed to be Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty for the second straight WrestleMania in a row. And for the second straight WrestleMania in a row, Marty Jannetty gets fired before WrestleMania and somebody else has to take his spot. And here we get Tatanka, which is a good, I mean, he's the best name out there left. And I'm not trying to say that negatively, but he's the best name out there left on the roster who isn't involved in anything else on this pay-per-view. So he's the best name you can go to.
Yeah, and it's the best name that's there's nobody else on the roster that has like an undefeated streak or something that you can go to immediately to push the guy over. And the fact that he beat Shawn twice, that helps. So it was really easy to transition from Marty to Shawn to Tatanka.
Yeah, I should point out for those out there that just like the watch-alongs, I know a lot of people just listen to watch-alongs on a lot of podcasts and things. The story going into this was Tatanka pinned Shawn Michaels in a non-title match on Superstars, and then a few weeks later on Raw, during a six-man tag, Tatanka pinned Shawn yet again. So Tatanka holds 2 pinfalls over the Intercontinental Champion going into the pay-per-view. And I got to tell you, when Shawn came out, my first thing I thought when I saw Luna a few feet behind Shawn Michaels on the way to the ring, like, who is that? This doesn't make any sense. Bobby, I'm sure Bobby enjoyed putting her over. She is from the Vachon family. Bobby was, an AWA guy for a very long time. Mad Dog was there much more than Butcher, but Bobby knew that Vachon family very well. So I'm sure Bobby was gung-ho that the Vachon, Vachon's got a family member in here. And Luna Vachon, of course, the daughter of Butcher Vachon, who was more of the job guy in the WWF. Mad Dog, of course, her uncle was the big name and got the title several times in the AWA. But yeah, Luna from a wrestling family out here, but it was just so weird that Shawn never acknowledges her existence. Like you said with the Tonka, he gives Sherri this, he gives Sherri that. I don't know that Marty would have gave her anything more than that. It's just an awkward positioning for Sherri as a babyface and in the corner of a guy who she's not really dating or, with or whatever you want to call that. She's kind of getting positioned to work with Luna beyond this match here. And so it's not as big of a deal, but like with Shawn, it's like, it was never explained. Why is she with Shawn? What was the reason? Was it just to counteract Sherri? Okay, at least acknowledge her then. Like, yeah, this is who I brought here to, be in my corner. And Shawn doesn't even pretend like Luna even exists. And kudos to Luna for just never being in the WWE, never being big time ever. In her career up until this point, walking out and just owning it, man. She looked awesome in her gear and getting in the ring, even when Shawn's in there posing, getting in the corner and just doing her mannerisms and things. Good job, I thought. She really made a good debut for what she had to work with.
Yeah, for what she had to do, she did awesome. And her gear even matches Shawn's, this.
Yeah, that's what threw me off more. It was like,
well,
they appear to be together, right? But he doesn't even act like she exists. Which, I mean, that could just be what Shawn does. I mean, it's Shawn Michaels.
He doesn't want any part of this, but she's there. He doesn't acknowledge her. I didn't even really pick up on the fact that she didn't get acknowledged. But at the end of the day, I think, like what I said a little bit earlier, is probably wanted no part of this side action that they have going on that's kind of taken away from them.
No, I get it. Oh, Shawn tried to get over the top rope there. Tatanka misses. Shawn wasn't fast enough. Looking for that clothesline. Looks like, nope. Nice spot there for 1993. Like that arm drag off the top rope. You don't see that very much. It has to kill Tatanka. How big would you say Tatanka is, weight-wise, like here in 1993?
He's probably getting up there close to, 280?
I think I would have said 280. He's probably not 280, but he's getting there, man. And this guy is trying his damnedest. And I don't think here's Luna trying to get over to, is that Shawn? That's Shawn out there. Sherri, not letting her help him up. She's like, nope, let him suffer. But my point was going back to Tatanka and his size. He's just too big to be doing some of the things he's trying to do here. Unfortunately, I would complain the opposite, in a year or two. Like, why isn't he trying to do anything other than just stomp and chop? But Tatanka here throwing a drop kick, and it looked every bit of 280 trying to get up for that drop kick. And he nailed it. Don't get me wrong, but it just looked like he struggled, took everything in him to get up there for that drop kick.
Yeah. I'll say I think Tatanka held his own here. He didn't.
Oh no, I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing this wasn't a good match. I think it was fine.
I'm not saying this is like his first big opportunity that he ever had, and he's been working Martel and for the most part on pay-per-views leading up to this. So
yeah,
this was a step up in competition and in significance.
That was an ugly sunset flip by Shawn. And I'm not even blaming Tatanka for the awful bump there. I don't mean to cut you off. We can go right back to that, but that sunset flip there, I haven't watched this in a long time, so everything's brand new to me. And that was as much Shawn's fault as it was Tatanka's, because Tatanka took the awful ugly bump, and everybody might be trying to crap on him, but Shawn didn't go into that properly at all. So, boom. But no, go on back to what you were saying. I like the point you were making.
Yeah, so I thought he delivered for what he was supposed to do. I felt like this kind of established him that he could have done a little bit more. And if he would have won the belt, I wouldn't have been mad after the match he puts on. Like, it's not bad. He was believable. And
no, I enjoyed it and I bought it. Like the pinfalls were great. I mean, the entire, and I say story like they've spent months on this, which they didn't. This was like out of the blue. They had to do this fast because Marty got fired at the same tapings. So they're like, boom, that's the instant idea of, oh, well, just have him pin Shawn. And you didn't get that a lot back then. Nowadays, that's their go-to. It's lazy.
Yeah.
But you didn't see a lot of back there, and it worked. Tatanka pinned him. So that was cool. But Tatanka had already been elevated to this level. It was like, why isn't he getting to this next level? He finally does here, even if it is because Marty's been fired. But I don't know, man. I just, I bought it. I got it. I wasn't necessarily like Tatanka wasn't in my top 5. He wasn't my fave 5, but he was. I was like, I respected him as a character on the TV enough to go, yeah, he does belong in this match. He belongs on WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. And I also think too that they got lucky because they got those two wins on TV, and then Shawn was out until Mania, so they couldn't do anything else really.
Another good point that we've talked about in our February and March shows. Yeah,
that he was out for all of March, so they couldn't advance the angle. They very beginning of February, and that's all you got. So they replayed it quite a bit. You saw the 2 pins quite a bit, like leading up to Mania, just to establish it. And then we got some promos, but that's really all it took.
Yeah, I think
Mark got 2 pinfalls on Shawn, so it's time to get the title shot. He deserves it, and here we are.
And how lucky they were that they I think the tapings were February 15th and 16th. Not the one I think that Tatanka pinned Shawn on, but the last tapings they did before Shawn got hurt were 15th and 16th. So we were still watching Shawn wrestle technically on TV into mid-March, not even realizing that he was injured doing squash matches. So we never really realized that Shawn was hurt. So, but he wasn't working. There was no further angles, no more storylines, but we didn't really need them. I mean, this was enough. It was Tatanka pinned you twice.
Yep. That's all it took. That was a nice spot just a little bit ago because Tatanka's been working the arm, and then Shawn went for the clothesline, and Tatanka no-sold it because it hurt Shawn more than it hurt him. So nice little psychology.
I tell you what, I was concerned going into this match because, like I've said this 1,000 times, Shawn was probably my favorite wrestler at this point in the company. Yeah, nice ring post shot. And I'm surprised he took that. He just came back from a separated shoulder from eating a ring post spot just like that. Too hard. And here he's right back to taking the spot again. But I was concerned going into this because Shawn was like my favorite worker in the company at this point. Him and Mr. Perfect. And I'm sitting here going, well, he's probably losing the belt. I don't want him to. Why is he in the ring with a guy that's never been beat? As a mark, as a kid?
Right.
So I'm like, I'm worried here because I just don't see Tatanka's undefeated streak ending yet. And Shawn Michaels has a belt. Of course, I didn't picture the finish we get, which they get out of everything, but it was scary as a kid if you're a Shawn Michaels fan, which I was.
Yeah, I was excited that hopefully that Tatanka was going to win it. I wanted this because title changes were cool back in the day. You didn't really see them too much. Oh.
I thought that was supposed to be a shoulder breaker, but it looked like he dropped him on his chest, on his knee. Oh, that was... You never see Tatanka do that move before or again. Oh, man.
Yeah, definitely not. But
going up.
Title changes are always fun, so I was looking forward to a possible title change here.
Boom, there's the big chop. Tatanka's out of moves. He's got one left. Oh, he's going to go back. Same move.
I think he gets caught here, and Ross sells it real good.
Ooh, super kick on the way down. I got to give it to him. Like I said, I haven't watched this in so many years. I don't know the spots like I do. I can watch a WrestleMania 6 or a WrestleMania 7, and I know what's coming before it gets there. But WrestleMania 9, not so much. I know the finishes. I remember the finishes. But stuff like that, I don't remember. I would have never have imagined in my wildest dreams in 1993 that they were doing spots where the guy's coming off the top rope and do a super kick. Good spot by Shawn and Tatanka there. And then now he's tossing Tatanka to the floor. Luna kind of lurking around over there. I bet Sherri doesn't let her over there, though.
Sherri's looking good here.
Yeah, I'm torn. Like, I want her to.
Yes.
I mean, she's filling it out right. I mean, I'm not saying that, but I'm just kind of torn. Like, babyface Sherri just didn't dress the same as heel Sherri for me.
Right. Oh man. I've always liked that dress. It's real shiny and it's unique. It's Sherri for sure.
No, she fills out the top nicely.
Cool
it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. One of those dudes that was on that Hidden Treasure show owns that dress. One of those guys. I think it was the guy that everybody hated.
Boom.
Because he was
nice
trying to milk.
I think we're going, isn't that the finish right there? Was that the finish? Okay.
Nope. No.
For some reason, I thought that was.
Another 5 minutes or so.
Oh, wow.
No, he does it again and hits the steps. Spoiler alert.
Shawn with the flying clothes on the apron. See, I kind of remember shit anyway, right?
I know this show like 6 and 7. But no, it's not a bad little match here.
Well, you want to tell your Hidden Treasure story about Sherri or whatever? I mean, or
no, I was
the creepy guy that owns her dress anyway.
No, the dude, like, he had it on display. Like, I seen it in the background. There was no story about it at all. It was just, I think he was dealing with Booker T or something, and he had that dress out on the mannequin or whatever.
Interesting.
And it was on display. I just happened to see it. I was like, oh, that's Sherri's 9 dress there. So,
I think we've talked in the past about owning wrestlers' gear, especially like trunks and pants and things like that. And I know you're a collector of all sorts of things, but even you have said, I don't think I want to own people's, underwear. Well, you know what I mean? And I'll go, I don't, and I started thinking, I don't want to own anything. Although maybe a few of Rick Rude's would be pretty cool. I think those would be pretty cool. But other than that, I don't think I would ever want to own anything of anyone's like that. But for some reason, even though she's a female, I find that even creepier. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I think we did talk about it has to be something that's completely unique and different and something that was maybe only worn one time. And
right.
It was, so like a Rick Rude and a pay-per-view trunks if there's some out there.
I would love to go back to Survivor Series 89 Rude tights or definitely.
89? Which one was that?
That's the ones with the Rowdies on the front and the tombstones on the back.
Yeah.
Which team will perish and which will prevail? I love it.
Yeah, definitely not 87 with the street signs. But
he was just getting into the gimmick then, man. He was just the airbrush guy. Was just learning. Although SummerSlam '88 with the Sanford and Son Junkyard Dog on it. Now that was, you couldn't get away with that today, but
no, but
it was still classic.
Yeah.
Shawn working over Tatanka. Not trying to take over this match. This is a solid match. Probably the most solid match on the show from bell to bell. Off the top of my head right now anyway. Shawn looked like he was going to go for the flying head scissors. Did Shawn forget
to do something?
It looked like he wanted a flying head scissors and he didn't connect right, so he tried to turn it into a victory roll, which he also didn't hook right. So that's what we got was that. Whatever that was, that's what we got.
They did a decent enough job of covering it up.
What a maneuver!
What a maneuver by Shawn Michaels there. He's going to go do it again. Look at him. He's going to do it for now, you're the one that watches this all the time. You know these spots. You know that he screwed this up.
Yeah, he's doing it. Oh, yeah, he's doing it again. But I think
he's doing it the easy way now. What a lazy ass. Yeah, they're going in the spot they should have done a minute ago. Boom.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dropped Shawn backwards to Tatanka. That's what they were looking for.
Speaking of gear, though, I was looking on eBay earlier, and I did see a pair of Macho Man pants from, I think it was 93, one of his promo photos. Well, yeah, there's a pair of his ring-worn gear on there, $6,500 for some pants.
Whew. Well, I mean, if you want to own a man's pants, whatever. I don't know.
if I would own something, it'd be like a Macho Man jacket. That wouldn't be bad.
I've been through the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, man, and I don't know that I'd pay $6,500 for anything that looked cool. I mean, that look cool, mind you, not just a pair of pants or whatever, what have you.
Right.
Maybe like the Kiss outfit, or maybe an Elvis jumpsuit. I could see we'll get back to the match now, because Tatanka's Native Americaning up, for lack of a better term here.
He's going on the war path.
He's on the war dance. Yeah, he's on the war path. Oh. Uh-oh. He learned this from Chief Jay Strongbow. You better believe it. Dancing around. Uh-oh, he's pointing. Hogan, I bet Hogan got a hold of him backstage. Nobody points but me, brother. Oh, here comes the chops. The nasty Tatanka chops. They're not quite brutal. Brian Pillman-esque, but man, he tries it.
Oh, man. He'll light him up on the jobbers. He'll be like, go in the corner real slow, then he just lays them in.
Shawn wanted to take the spin bump there, but he hit him too hard. If you ever see a guy try a spin bump and they don't complete it, it's typically because they've been hit too hard.
Shawn's chest is turning red.
Crossbody.
Crossbody.
Yeah, Tatanka going up top. 280 pounds off. Tatanka he would try things, you know? I mean, I give him that much credit for his size. He needed to as a babyface, because he really didn't have a whole lot in his arsenal besides, Shawn tried the drop kick. Tatanka catches him. Catapult coming up.
Shawn, you can clearly tell Shawn hasn't worked in a few weeks. Oh, that was ugly.
One.
And then we got another ugly roll-up. Yeah. You can tell Shawn has a little ring rust going. He just looks lethargic a little bit.
I think he's been out of the ring for 6 weeks. He did come back. He worked that match with Jeff Jarrett in the USWA. There it was. Counter. So Shawn was out like 6 weeks, and he comes back the Monday before this, works one match for the USWA against Jeff Jarrett, I guess, kind of cleaning off the ring rust. But this is WrestleMania. It's next level. You're going, I think he goes like 18 minutes here, so you got to be ready.
And it's not quite Mr. WrestleMania just yet. He's still
not yet, but it's still a good match. It's nice power slam.
Nice power
slam. Shawn coming off the top rope, dives right into a power slam to Tatanka with a near fall.
Is this the longest match on the card?
I would have to imagine without looking. Although, the Mega Maniacs match feels like it lasts 3 days.
Yeah, all the shenanigans and stupid shit that they do in that match extends it, but now we're coming to the finish. We're getting close here.
Tatanka and Shawn on the floor again. Shawn looking like he's, what's he doing, breaking the count?
Yeah.
He's going back out. He looks like he's going to go for another clothesline off the apron, running clothesline right off the apron. Hit this earlier, looked nice. Goes again, Tatanka moves. Shawn takes a bump into the steps. I'm not buying that one very much. That was kind of lackadaisical by Shawn. A very surprising bump by Shawn. It was kind of lazy. Yeah. Not believable. And Shawn eats the count out here, I think, right? Tatanka, Shawn trips the referee up. And back in the ring.
Where you get the false finish here. I think he gets hit with the papoose to go, and the ref doesn't count.
Here he is, papoose to go. I only call it that because Vince did. I mean, Bobby did it all the time, but he's a heel. But since Vince did it on Raw, I'm going to go along with it. And ref calling for the bell. Is that Danny Davis? I think that's Danny Davis.
It's Morella.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Morella.
Sorry, I wasn't looking. Okay, yeah, Morella for sure.
100. He'd probably still have a job right now. Hey, man, is that Oscar right there? That looks just like Oscar from Men on a Mission.
Hey, man, they're only a couple months away, right? Maybe that's where they found him, out in Vegas.
He had this swagger and everything that Oscar walked with, and he was wearing.
If you call that swagger, I call that waddling, but okay.
Whatever. That looked just like him.
So basically what we have here is a count out. Tatanka wins it. We thought Tatanka won the belt, maybe was going to pin Shawn Michaels there, but actually Shawn had been counted out when he missed that clothesline, hit the steel.
I thought it was a DQ.
It's a count out.
He tripped the ref.
Yeah, but he had already counted 10.
Oh.
Yeah, so we get the count out
Take
there.
your pick, right?
Yeah, it really doesn't
Take
matter.
your
The
pick.
belt doesn't change. His undefeated streak remains, and I feel so let down that I just watched an 18-minute and 13-second match, Steve, without a finish to open WrestleMania. The only thing bad about that match was the finish.
Yeah, that was rough.
They booked himself into a corner and Sherri looks excited that Tatanka's won. She's not in the ring actually congratulating him. She's just standing at ringside smiling. But Tatanka's celebrating like, I never understood this. You shouldn't be happy. I get it. You want to play your music out. You want to celebrate. It's WrestleMania. I get what they're going for here, but
we'll have more of that at SummerSlam.
Luna, yeah, a whole lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Luna yanks Sherri down. Here it is. Luna attacking Sherri on the floor. Boom. Slams Sherri on the outside. Puts the boots to her. Yeah. Tatanka out to make the save and Luna out of there. See, Shawn leaves without Luna. So it's like, I was really confused at this point. Is she with him or not? They never acknowledge each other. They never go near each other. And then Luna beats up Sherri. Shawn's already gone backstage. So he's having none of this Luna shit.
Yeah, he's done. Like, he probably didn't even want it there in the first place, so he's heading out. I don't give a shit about this.
I should mention, too, on the Coliseum video version, I don't know if they showed on this version or not.
I don't think so.
Luna attacks Sherri in the back, in the doctor's area, where they're checking on Sherri after this attack out here. It airs on the Coliseum video version, and they even reference it on the actual pay-per-view later on the pay-per-view. They actually make mention that we just heard that Luna has attacked Sherri again backstage. So
Tatanka's
taking liberties?
He lifted his finger. He's lifted his finger up, so he's not doing it. Oh, Lord. What a gentleman.
Mean Gene going to interview the Steiners. Do you want to hear this or not? Let it be your call.
Oh, Lord. I like Gene's toga here.
Yeah, it's not too
Looking
bad.
good.
I'm sure he went out in that, too. Gene was a party man, for sure.
No way.
Absolutely.
I know he gets his Michigan Wolverines reference in. So
you want to hear the Steiners?
Well, it's not bad.
Let's see what the train wreck said. Well, let's see.
I tell you, you got your work cut out for you.
You know, Gene, me and my brother are very excited about wrestling our first WrestleMania. But Headshrinkers, I got a message for you guys. This might be our first WrestleMania, but it'll be one to be remembered.
Rick, you're ready for this one.
You know, Gene, these guys are unpredictable. Nobody knows where they're coming from. But me and my brother are going to go out with a game plan. We're going to do what we do best, and that's wrestle. We're going to make Julius Caesar proud.
Thank you very much, the Steiner brothers. With that, let's get back to ringside.
Who wrote that? That sounded coherent. It made sense, and it sounded like a normal wrestling promo. That did not sound like a Steiner Brothers promo. No, it was perfectly fine. The Headshrinkers already in the ring awaiting their opponents. The Steiner Brothers, the story here, both guys looking to ascend in the tag team ranks, and they're both undefeated going into this. I was just thinking, when the Steiners just said, this is our first WrestleMania, I started scrolling through the matches, Steve. And you look at some of these guys here, the Steiners, the Headshrinkers, Crush, Doink, Razor Ramon, Bob Backlund. So many people. This is their first WrestleMania. You see the shift now.
Luger
in the roster. Yeah, the roster shift is tremendous here at this WrestleMania.
No, not Tatanka's first. But yeah, it's crazy. Technically, Luger's second that he's been on TV.
Sure,
but first where he's actually part of the WWF, not the WBF. But yeah, you got even more down there towards the bottom. Giant Gonzalez, Yoko.
Giant Gonzalez first and last.
Thankfully. This match is fun. Like I said, the first two matches, you're like, okay, this is going to be a pretty decent WrestleMania, and then the wheels kind of fall.
Yeah, then the wheels fall. Fucking. I mean, that's what I was just thinking a day or two ago when I was playing the show in my head. I go, yeah, that first match, other than the finish, yeah. And then I go, oh, the second match, totally solid. And then I'm like, yeah, then it's just slowly but surely shit comes apart. on this pay-per-view.
You think
for
it's
sure.
going to pick back up towards the end, and then it never does. It's unfortunate, but
yeah, that's a word for it. Unfortunate. But I'll take this match. Like I have nothing against this.
Oh yeah, we've seen this quite a few times, right? With the grenade from 1989. These
in
guys
the NWA, yeah, the SST and the Steiners.
Yep. So they don't mind beating the shit out of each other.
No, they know each other well, and they don't mind beating the crap out of each other, like you just said. Now, I have mentioned on previous
there's
grenades.
A brutal spot here.
Yeah, it is. I'm waiting for it already. Poor
too.
Scotty. How he gets right back up from it, I have no idea. I don't even know what the hell they were thinking. But yeah,
the shittiest part is the camera angle kind of misses it. But man, why didn't we have like 20 different angles of everything like we do now? Because they'd be replaying the shit out of that.
Yeah. That's it's definitely something. It's coming up, guys. We promise. If you guys are watching along with us, you'll know it when it happens. You just referenced it, and I already knew what you were talking about the very moment that you.
There's a couple
it.
in this one. There's quite a few in this one. The kendo shot is nasty sounding, and then Rick does his stuff that amazes me every time I see it. It doesn't even matter. The fact that he can do it to some of these people this big is just it's mind-boggling. Some of the stuff that you can do to people. You
know what we haven't talked about yet, and I don't want to take away from this either, because it was a big deal back when this happened, was look at the landscape of this arena, if you will, like this outdoor thing. I'd never seen anything like this prior to this pay-per-view. This nothing so open as Caesar's Palace are taking him down.
He tried to go inside out, and he couldn't.
Fatu loved that inside out bump, but yeah, you can't do that with the Steiners. Just never even planned to do that with the Steiners.
But I pretty good.
The look at it, you can see the casino in the background right there, Caesar's Palace. Mm-hmm. It's so weird. Like it's just a different dynamic. Just see that bright blue sky. We've seen it so many times since then, as far as the stadiums and things goes, but never as open as this. It was almost hard for me to initially feel like this was real as it was happening. I almost felt like it was like everybody was playing pretend, even though they kind of are. Although you can't tell Scotty that, but before this match is over. They're both going up. I haven't seen this since they fought Vader and Mr. Hughes at Clash of the Champions.
These guys are going for it. They're really going for it.
Boom. They know what they got. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best two teams in the company right now.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
But to get to your point real quick here, I absolutely love the look. That's one of the reasons, like, I've always wanted to go to Vegas. I wanted to see Caesar's Palace, and I did go there on my honeymoon. I didn't stay there, but I wanted to go there, and it's because of this show. Obviously, it's not going to when I get there, but it's just a big piece of my childhood was this show, and it sticks out because it was the first time we've seen it outside, and Jim Ross throughout the night does a really, really good job of hyping up Caesar's Palace, the visuals, the crowd, the fireworks going off, and everything. That he just does an excellent job of selling what we're looking at.
Oh man, chopped him right through the throat.
And I think that's part of the reason why I like this show. I don't mind it, is because an arena or a setting can take away from a lot of the terribleness of it. So just the visuals of it looks cool. Like the shit matches are shit, but they look really awesome because they're outside, and this is a completely different setting.
Steiner. Well, you know what? At least we haven't gotten to the shit match part of the show yet. So we're still rocking. Oh, Samu trying to into the ring post. My God. Ooh. No, but the point I was trying to make was when I first saw this, like it didn't feel real because like they're outside playing, almost like we would wrestle outside, So it took me a little bit to get used to what the hell I was like. It threw me off. It really threw my mind off when I was first watching Scotty with the drop kick.
Tatanka.
Yeah, that was definitely better than Tatanka.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
What a maneuver!
What a maneuver by the Samoans, or the Headshrinkers there. He kind of picks Scott Steiner up for what looks like it's going to be a hot shot or a stun gun.
Kendo shot, too.
And then Fatu, into the back, nasty. And then Fatu lowers the rope for whatever fucking reason. I will never know why he dropped the rope while Samu was giving him the stun gun. But Scott, the top rope's not there because Fatu's pulling down on it.
God.
And Scott just takes that nasty bump. How he lived is beyond me. I have no idea.
You have no clue how he didn't break his neck there.
Yeah, the first thing I think of when I think of this match is that spot. Like that's the spot. Not who won, not the finish, although the finish is what it is too, but that right there.
Oh man, it was God. And then he took a kendo shot right afterwards. So
well,
you got a few seconds there.
You got Afa out there. You can't forget Afa.
Samu.
The Samoans beating.
He sells it. He sells the headbutt.
Is that how he tagged him? Did he tag him in by giving him a headbutt? Or did I just create that?
Tagged him in.
Oh, see.
Tagged him in. And Fatu stuck his head in to do the double team, but then
new gimmick.
Samu hit him. I think he actually hit him.
I'm calling it right now. New gimmick. Samoans should be headbutting each other to tag in and out. They should. That would have been awesome. That's how we tag in Samoa, bitch. That's what we do.
Get a moose.
Get a moose.
It's funny.
Getting the heat on Scotty now. Man, the Steiners were just out of place here. Not in a bad way. Just there was nobody from the work. It's like, okay, now you work the Headshrinkers. Where do you go from here? And I get it. Well, DiBiase and IRS. Okay, yeah, they're the token champs, but really, where do you go? Oh, nice.
Nice back kick.
Smacked him in the face with that bare foot.
Whew.
Only the Samoans could get away with roughing up the Steiners. You know, there's got to be some kind of respect there.
Well, let's be honest. There's everybody says Rick and Scott can beat the shit out of you, and they'll do what they want to do. Well, the
I have no doubt about that.
They're just as tough. They're just as tough. So it's like, okay, if we get in a fight, we're all gonna be destroyed. Like we're all gonna be
all four of us. Yeah, we're all.
So it's just like
there are no winners.
We're gonna we'll respect each other and we'll beat the shit out of each other and we'll move on.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to, crap on any of these guys. Like the Samoans were always professional. They always had good matches or whatever with anybody they got in the ring with. They never tried. Well, the job guys, I have to question. Sometimes they might have tried to hurt, but and the Steiners, I mean, they pick and chose who they screwed with here, but they've only been with the WWF for about 3 months now. Not even, 3 months. And at the same time, I don't know that they're ready to, rock the boat to that degree yet, especially working with guys that they've worked with before, they know, and they know they're going to have a good match with. And it's WrestleMania. It's a pay-per-view. It's a pay-per-view payday at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I have no doubt they were backstage like some of these other guys that had just come to the company saying, we're going to steal the show. Unfortunately, everybody after this match, Fatu no-selling the head drop to the canvas. Oh, love those old super kicks.
I do too. Tremendous.
They really dropped the ball with both of these teams. Steiners never really went anywhere the entire time they were here. They were losing to it wasn't by pinfall, but losing to the freaking Quebecers, which I loved, by the way, but still, it just seemed abrupt to the title change from the Steiners to the Quebecers. And the Headshrinkers never really ever got, well, we see here what they're capable of in this match. And they never really got anything. They did get the belts as near the end there, beating the Quebecers, and then, they got the belts beating the Quebecers, and they dropped the belt pre-Barbarian. I think it was because Samu was leaving, because they dropped him to Diesel and Shawn like the day before WrestleMania or SummerSlam 93.
Yeah, 94.
94, yeah. And the only reason I knew that was because that morning on Regis and Kathy Lee, and I didn't watch Regis and Kathy Lee. I was a friggin' teenager, but I don't know how. Somebody had it on. Somebody told me something. But that day, they were on there. Diesel and Shawn were with the belts. And I go, but the Headshrinkers were champions. They'd won them the day before, so they lost the belts the day before SummerSlam. Kind of reverse demolition here. Boom.
Yeah, it was a house show in Indy. I think it was at Market Square Arena.
Okay.
But, yeah. I think the problem is there's just nobody there for these teams to work besides each other. I don't know if it's necessarily anything against these teams. It's just their tag team division was so bad and terrible. Samu's eating the tag rope, by the way. But
for those who aren't watching, the reason we're not doing color or play-by-play right now is Fatu's working the old trapeze hold on Scott, so we can talk about some other things while we're waiting for Scotty to make the comeback here and do the hot tag.
I never noticed him eating the tag rope, but
I didn't either.
No, I just don't think there's enough teams for these guys to even do anything. And I will say, I watched Scott Steiner's shoot interview, one of them. If he's only done one, I don't know. It's the one where he has his glasses on, he's high as a kite, and he doesn't really want to answer anything. But he made a comment in '93. He's like, it was all right. Vince just wasn't around enough, and he didn't have his finger on the pulse like he normally would due to the steroid trial and everything. So he's kind of just, they never really seen him. There's really no direction one way or the other. And it was kind of fly by the seat of your pants just because there's weeks where he was there and there's weeks that he wasn't because of the trial and everything. So it was chaotic. It was a chaotic year from the sounds of it. And when you don't really have the direction or anything like that, where you just kind of hot shot and stuff, you're gonna run into issues like this where they feel like they didn't get what they probably should have gotten or deserved out of their run.
No, and we're lucky we got what we did out of their run. They get this Headshrinkers match. Well, they get the Beverly Brothers, whatever, at Royal Rumble. They get the Headshrinkers here at WrestleMania. Let's ignore that garbage, awful 8-man tag team match of nothing at King of the Ring. Then they get the Heavenly Bodies who randomly come in for SummerSlam. So they got a few teams handed to them, but there weren't really angles and storylines and several matches and things like that, which is like one-offs, all these one-offs here.
Yeah.
Samu misses that flying headbutt.
Beautiful looking, though.
Yeah, it was really nice looking.
What's crazy is about the whole run as we get ready for the hot tags here. Survivor Series, they're in the main event, and then by Royal Rumble, they're getting jobbed out and taking miss from Quang and getting eliminated within like 30 seconds. So
that blew my mind. Like, it made no sense. Go back to when I saw Boss Man, lose to Bigelow at Royal Rumble. What the hell's happening here? This isn't my world that I'm in. Why are the Steiners going out in 3 minutes at the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, that's exactly my thought. So they were clearly on their way out.
Boom, Steiner line.
Here we go.
Oh,
Alpha wants some of this.
Alpha wants a Steiner line maybe here. I don't know. Here we go. Boom, you silly. Oh, that would have been awesome. Rick no-sold too. We had like a headbutt fest there.
Headgear.
Because he's Rick. No, just because he's Rick. And he has no brain. It's just the gimmick, man.
Oh, no, I'm just saying it'd been funny.
Here we go. Oh, I love this move.
I love this move.
Oh, man, that one jobber, they break his nose early on. He's got blood all over his face when they first came into the company. Yeah. Got Rick wobbly here.
This is the spot I was talking about. I can't believe he can do this.
Doomsday Device coming up here, or wow, dangerous as insane. Hell. Well, that's both of them, but man, amazing. Yeah. It looked like the Samoans were going for the Doomsday Device. Rick Steiner catches whoever was coming off the top rope and turns it into a power slam off of Fatu's shoulders. He power slams Samu like 10, 12 feet in the air. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like I said, some of the stuff these guys can do. Overhead belly to belly.
Gets his face kicked off there.
Nasty. Samu lays those in, man.
Yeah, foot for your trouble.
Samu has some feet on him. Yeah.
Oh, he just throws him down like a sack of crap with that slam.
Here we go.
Oh, whiffed on the Frankensteiner. I always remember that. It's like he flips after he does the Frankensteiner. Early. Yeah. Well, Scotty did the move, and then Samu did the flip too late. That's all it was.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Steiner brothers pick up the win, and they're out of there. So it's like the opposite. I always call that the opposite of Royal Rumble. Like Bo Beverly gets his head spiked into the mat at Royal Rumble, and this one's the opposite of that. Samu kind of eats the move after Scotty already delivers it here. We're going to go backstage. I think Mean Gene Okerlund's standing by with maybe Doink the Clown.
Randy Savage, during the course of that last match, I personally saw this man, Doink, desecrate the visage of Julius Caesar. But,
that's art.
Doink, that's the kind of thing we become accustomed to with you. I've seen you play tricks on kids. I mean, really sick type tricks.
I got a good sense of humor.
Throwing pails of water on little kids, hitting them in the face with pies. But the most memorable took place in front of a national television audience when you, Doink, apparently tore your arm right out of its socket and from behind crushed the man you're going to be meeting here today at WrestleMania. Let's go back and take a look at that action.
It's a smart clown.
Well, at least he got a flower out of the whole thing there, Paul. Wait a minute, Doink! Did you see that? Wait a minute, his arm off! He just took his own arm off!
Ooh.
He don't know! He took his own arm right out of the socket!
That's a cast!
Look what he's doing! I can't believe it!
You know, Doink, as you watch the replay of that action, I cannot believe you seem to take enjoyment in it. You relish it, the thought of it all.
I'm bringing a sense of humor to this party, WrestleMania IX.
You know, you laugh, but it could be that your opponent, Crush, will have the last laugh. Because ever since that incident occurred, he has vowed revenge, and it could happen here at WrestleMania IX.
Oh, revenge would be sweet. But I guarantee you, after WrestleMania IX, Crush may be seen double vision.
Get out of here. Let's get back to ringside. Hey, you put that...
Double vision, Steve.
What could that mean?
Yeah, what could that mean? Indeed, I didn't understand it at that point. Of course, I probably wasn't even paying attention to that. Yeah, that silliness. But I love that they had to play that video clip, and they left all the audio in up to the point where Vince goes, "He ripped his arm right out of his socket." Only Vince McMahon would oversell something that ridiculous when you can plainly see that he has two arms, and that's fake. But he ripped his arm right out of his socket. All I can say to that is,
Now that is raw!
that is fucking raw, Steve. That is fucking raw. Ripping your arm out of your socket.
Best part is Macho, like, immediately afterward. It's a cast! It's a cast!
It's a cast, brother. It's a cast. Get real, man. Let's get real right here, right now. Do it. Do the thing, Vince. Don't be misleading the people, huh?
Oh,
there he is, Crush. It's not a funny story. It's not even a good story, but I'm telling the story anyway because it's a part of my life. My youth, if you will. My youth. I don't know if it even still exists. I have no idea. But if anybody's into orange soda, or as we call it here in my area of the world, pop, there was a pop, an orange soda by the name of Crush back in the day. I don't know if it still exists or not. But I'm more of a Sunkist guy now, if I even have any. But back then, they're I don't know if you ever saw them, Steve, back then, but the colors on them matched Crush's outfit. It was purple, it was orange, it said Crush, and it was some yellow in there. I mean, it literally looked like Crush's gear on a 2-liter pop bottle, okay? And we never had that in our house, really barely ever. But for some reason, we had that weekend of WrestleMania IX. We had a Crush pop bottle, 2-liter, in our refrigerator. And we finished it that day, and my one cousin was over, Crystal, and we were being absolutely stupid as Crush chases Doink around the ring. And I had this empty Crush bottle walking around the house going, "Yeah, brother." And I kept smashing it. I kept crushing it over and over. "Yeah, brother, Crush, brother." So, yeah. And I wasn't even, and I was too young to be drunk. I mean, I guess I could have been, but no, I was like 13, 14, whatever. 12, 13, whatever the hell I was. But yeah, it's things you remember, though, you know? And it was so funny because the colors matched his gear, like right to the T. So it was funny.
Yep. Yeah, that's still out there. They got like 6 different flavors now, like grape and orange, and I think there's a blue one now. So yeah, it's still there. I don't drink it. I don't drink soda or pop, whatever you want to call it. I don't drink that stuff anymore. But his gear did match it. We're not going to steal OSW's gimmick of what bar, but he looks like some orange sherbet too.
Yeah, what pop is he? Crush is Crush.
Probably that's where he got his name.
It probably is. I got an idea, bro. Kind of like Razor with the Scarface gimmick.
Scarface.
Yeah. Hey, yo, I got an idea, man. I came up with this by myself, man.
Probably walking down a grocery aisle and sees a bottle of Crush soda.
I like it, brother. Hey, that's my wrestling name, brother.
That made good gear, brother.
Brother. Doink taking
That's
a powder.
great color right
Crush
there.
working over Doink really early in this match. And as soon as I say that, Doink pulls him the outside. Crush not going to sell for him. I don't think this feud did either guy any favors. I don't think Doink was the right guy to take Crush out. Look at the size of Crush. I mean, and then try to, Crush coming for revenge, Doink half his size. But at the same time, Doink was so good. We've talked about that for the last several episodes now, that he could have got over. And not that he wasn't over, but here at WrestleMania, had this been with someone else, I just feel like it could have been mean even more.
Yeah, I don't know. Who else would he do something to get here?
Tatanka? I don't know. And that's just somebody.
I was thinking
somebody
Tatanka,
more his
but
size.
What did he do with Shawn? What
Right.
would you do with Shawn? Like, I don't know.
Well, you would have already been in the Tatanka situation though. Had you done this when they did this back in January, so it would have been like, who cares with Shawn?
They probably wouldn't have fired Marty. Oh, nice snap there. A little delayed on the cell.
Delayed response. Crush paying homage to the Macho Man though, leaping over the top rope with that neck snap.
Tatanka would have been cool. I feel like Owen came like a year too late. I wish they would have capitalized on his match at WrestleMania 8 and kind of elevated him to a singles guy instead of sticking him with Coco. Because Owen got messed with, I think, on one of those segments or whatever. I think. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Sheamus right here. Boom.
But that would have been cool. That would have been good.
Yeah, no, I like if had they done a little more singles with Owen leading into this before his injury here in March too, I would have bought that had he had enough time to build himself Doink off the top.
Look
but it's
how fast
just
he got up there and did
they
that.
just
That was nice.
They don't gel well together. And I saw this match on the house shows. They followed this WrestleMania up by doing this match on the house show loose with the second Doink under the ring. Only difference is Crush actually catches the second Doink, beats up the second Doink, brother. I can't remember the finish. I'm sure it was like a DQ. Ref saw two Doinks or whatever the story is, but I haven't seen it since it happened. So please forgive me. I don't remember the finish of a house show from 1993, but I did see this. It's just Crush seems so much out of place here. Yeah, well, yeah, that too. Blah. Yeah, that's. But to work with Doink, yeah, he took a pile driver, ate a pile driver.
Yeah, a nasty pile driver. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with Crush. I don't know. Like, he has a great look, and I think his accent and everything kind of appeals to a child base type deal.
Yeah, no, he worked for me here in this era. Crush did, like when I wasn't looking for work rate and shit. Like I was like behind Crush. I supported that Crush existed. When he turned heel, I'm like, why would you do that to him? Even, but just nothing ever. Whoa, the wig's kind of hanging off there a little bit there, Doink.
It just never really clicked. I love the evil Crush. I love the look. I love the face paint. I love the gear. Like he really, really bought into that. And to me, that's like the best Crush that we ever get.
No, and I like well, when he turned, I didn't support it. But once he got the gimmick change, he looked different. He got the paint on and everything. It looked cool. Doink, boo, right into the foot.
Oh,
but
yeah.
So I supported that too until the bell rang. That heel Crush was not a entertaining worker, to say the least.
Because, well, the problem is a lot of his moves were big,
power moves,
big time power moves that people like to see. So it's one of those things where, like, yeah, he's better as a heel, but his work suits a babyface. It's weird. It's weird that somebody like Bryan Adams and Brian Clark end up together, because there's two guys that you're just like, what didn't click, what didn't work, what didn't register? Because I feel like both of them could have been a lot bigger than they ever were.
And that proves it right there. Crush. Bryan Adams was a strong mofo. Just caught Matt Bourne, dead weight Matt Bourne. Ooh, nice clothesline bump. Doink to the outside.
I love Chronic.
What's going on here? Chronic. Well, Vince didn't like him very much.
No.
What was Doink doing down there, Steve? He started crawling underneath the ring. I don't know what would be under there.
I don't either. I guess we'll have to wait to see.
Well, now I'm a liar. Now I'm a liar.
Well, Bobby Heenan, I don't know if you remember, but when Doink comes out with that umbrella, Bobby's like, that could be a chainsaw. He's like, really?
Going for the finish already. Crush looking for the cranium. Yeah, Bobby was always good at that stuff, though. I mean, he just made it
so ridiculous.
See, now his head should have came off right here. Oop, that was a fake head. Oh, man. Crush looking for the cranium crunch there and ends up throwing Doink's head into the ref. I don't even know what the hell happened there.
I think it was his elbow. I don't know.
It sounded funnier when it was his head, though.
Yeah.
Doink again the ref takes a bump. He's out. And Doink trying to crawl under the ring for a second time. I don't know what's under there that he's wanting. Matt Bourne thrown back into the ring by Crush again. And here comes the famous point in wrestling history coming up here in a moment.
I will say the match itself wasn't bad, and then you got to the finish. Like, the finish kind of just totally zapped everything out of it. It was weird. And
here it comes, going for his finisher, the cranium crunch, but the referee's out, and Crush has to know that. Doink going to eat the finisher here, though. Oh, he's going to cave his skull in like that. Pineapple on the promos, brah. What is that? What is coming? What is that?
No. What's going on here? Where's another one? They caught him from behind.
With that arm.
There's 2 clowns.
That arm was loaded the last time they checked it. I'm slapping myself in the face. You know what this is? This is an illusion.
No, it's not. There's 2 of them.
Double doink.
Double 2 doinks.
Double doink. Macho Man coins the phrase double doink, of course, used in football since that time. Oh, broke the cast or lead pipe if you listen to
piece came out.
Oh, this is my favorite right here. The old mirror, the old mirror gimmick here.
I don't know. Do they show it on the live version or not? But like on the Coliseum video, they show Gene kind of walking in the back at like a trailer, and then out pops.
That's Coliseum video. Yeah, that's Coliseum video. Because
I smoking a cigarette or something.
Yeah, they show like both Doinks, kind of.
Yeah.
Doink picks up to win. The referee comes to just in time to watch Matt Bourne cover Crush, thanks to the help of the illusion. Bobby Heenan, quick response, Bobby Heenan. That's an illusion. As the second Doink, who is actually Steve Kern. Yes, Skinner's gone, but Steve Kern's still around working the second Doink gimmick, and it worked out for them really well because right after WrestleMania, they do the European and American tours at the same time, so they actually have a Doink wrestling on both tours. So that works out for them, and then after that, they start doing the normal house show tour with Crush versus Doink, and then the second Doink interfering, doing basically here the WrestleMania 9 bit, only Crush catches him. Wow, Fonzie out here. Nah, right down the middle, Daddy. It's Bill Alfonso to the rescue.
Boy.
Yeah, he's coming to save Crush.
At least he doesn't have a damn whistle.
Yeah, thank God. And he's out here explaining, there's 2 Doinks. I saw 2 Doinks, Daddy. There's 2 Doinks. I promise you, Daddy. I can hear Fonzie now explaining it. Doink picks up the win, though. Pins Crush. That's the end of...
Is this... I don't want to get too much on Fonzie here, but is this what he did? Like, was he a manager before ECW? Or
no, Fonzie had been a referee going back to the Florida Championship Wrestling from Florida. Fonzie had been a referee for a very, very long time.
He's a damn good ref.
Yeah, he was a great ref. And, he was also, for those who don't know, especially during this period, because he was in WCW also, during the earlier 90s, he was Giant Gonzalez's handler, basically, for lack of a better term. You know, you talk about Tim White and some of these other guys who kind of handled Andre's business and things and helped him get places and stuff because of his size. Bill Alfonso was Elegante, and even Giant Gonzalez's handler here. I hate to use that word. I don't really know what else to use. Chaperone or whatever. Kind of helped Elegante get around and try to keep him comfortable. So,
Yokozuna number 1.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's pick it up. Yeah.
All over the world. We're here with the photographers from Japan. Sir, were there 2 Doinks in your opinion, or was it an illusion?
Doink, Yokozuna ga tsuoi.
No, sir. You have to. Were there 2 Doinks? Sir, were there 2 Doinks? All right. How are you enjoying your stay here in the U.S.?
Las Vegas, number 1. Caesar's Palace, number 1.
Hey, Yokozuna.
Yokozuna, number 1.
Unbelievable. 2 Doinks or an illusion? We'll leave it up to you. We are up in the U.
Ichiban, number 1, Yokozuna. Holy shit. Oh, if that wasn't planned, if they didn't tell these guys like to do this stereotypical stuff, I mean, you see where some stereotypes come from then at that point. Because like he has no idea.
That chick in the pink shirt looks like she's having a good time in Vegas.
Good for her. You know, there's those two guys. I don't even know if it's on this version.
There's somebody actually wearing a toga.
Well, there's those two guys drunk. Don't you remember the two guys drunk wearing a toga?
Oh yeah, that's later on.
Okay, I don't know if that makes the peacock here or not. I don't know if that makes the cock here or not, but yeah, I do remember those two guys. I was gonna say, like, they sold and sold and sold. Look at Razor; he's kind of, even now, like, you can kind of see him favoring that knee. For those who don't know, Razor's just underwent orthoscopic knee surgery not just a few weeks before this. He hasn't wrestled a whole lot this year yet. He kind of stayed out most of January with the bum knee. He came back to work Royal Rumble. Wrestled for a couple of weeks after that, tried to keep it going, and it just wasn't working. And he went out in mid-February with the orthoscopic knee surgery, and of course he's back in time by, I think he came back right around the middle of March. So Razor's been back a couple of weeks working tag matches on the house shows with Lex Luger as his tag team partner. So Razor probably had to do most of the work, I'm guessing. And here he is. This is the oddest match when they announced this match. Remember what we heard Gene say when they announced this on the WrestleMania?
Is that official?
Yeah, he kind of asks off TV, off camera. He goes, "Is that official?" Okay, Razor Ramon taking on Bob Backlund. Like, even Mean Gene was like, "Is that a real fucking match? Are you ribbing me?" Bob Backlund. Are you ribbing me? Bob Backlund taking on Razor Ramon. What an odd match. I don't even know what to say about it. I thought it then. I think of it now. Contrast of style isn't even the word you use for something like this, although that's exactly what it is. It's just two completely different eras. I always said even Bob, during his championship run, was still an era behind the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
He throws the toothpick at Backlund.
This is polar opposites. And Backlund broke it in half and threw it. Really? I can break a toothpick. We can tell Bob hasn't been hitting the tanning bed getting ready for this.
For those who can't tell, we've kind of the wheels are starting to come apart here on the show. We go from Shawn and Tatanka, Headshrinkers and Steiners. Then we did the Doink and Crush thing, which, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a very good wrestling match by any means. And the double Doink thing, it was different. It wasn't really a thing for me at the time, and whatever. But this right here, I was like, I don't even understand how this is. Like, my mind couldn't physically process how this was going to end. Like, what the hell's the end game of this match?
Oh boy, the leg whips here.
Oh yeah, he's tripping him up. And there's the Bob Backlund dancing around the ring. There he goes.
I will say, like, Bobby actually does a really good job of hyping Razor here at the end of the match. He's like, the bad guy beats him with wrestling. He beats him with a wrestling hold just to show like he can actually wrestle.
Right.
He's not just a fighter. So even though it's terrible, it's not very good. The fact that Heenan could get that out there and just really help Razor kind of cover up how bad this match was.
Well, let's be serious. Bob Backlund was like, "Yeah, what's your finisher?" And Razor's like, "Oh, this is." He shows him a video clip of it. Yeah, I'm not taking that. Like, Bob Backlund was never ever going to take a Razor's Edge, or the back superplex, or probably even the fallaway slam.
None of them.
No.
And let's be honest, I don't know if Razor, like, he's walking really ginger here. He's not really putting a lot of weight on that leg.
No, I think that's, I think the inside cradle is also, to protect Razor. It's what I've thought for years anyway, because he wasn't 100% going into this match. He's kind of walking, like you said, right now, if you see him going around the ring, he's kind of walking hobbly.
Very gingerly.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's staying close to the ropes. He's staying close to the ropes.
Yeah, to even do a stomp there, Razor's grabbing the rope to have extra support when he's even stomping on Bob Backlund.
He just bitch slapped.
Hey, yo, man. Oh, he slapped him. Bob hit him back. This is a match, and it happened on WrestleMania. I'll say that. Oh, Razor taking a hip toss.
That was ugly.
Oh, there was a drop kick. Look at him. He didn't even bump off of the Backlund drop kick.
He shouldn't be in the ring.
No.
He shouldn't be in the ring.
I'm glad that they tried to get Razor on the pay-per-view, but you can absolutely tell. Look at that. He didn't bump for Backlund's drop kick. He took a forearm and kind of tumbled back onto his ass. Double underhook suplex.
He's being very cautious. He doesn't want to get hurt more than he already is. There's big plans coming for him.
Oh, here we go. This is Bob's old finisher, the Atomic Spine Crusher, the old walking atomic drop. What a finisher. Only Bob Backlund. Oh. Then he would typically pin his opponent there, but Razor said, I'll just go out of the ring. Fuck this nonsense. That hasn't been a finisher in 10 years at least. And as they say, brings him back in the hard way.
And there we go.
Here it is. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Unbelievable. Razor Ramon beats Bob Backlund.
He's crawling out of the ring, and he collapses outside, man. He's in rough shape.
3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, that probably would have went better if his leg wasn't terrible. I'm not saying it would have been excellent, but if he could actually sold like the drop kick and some of those moves, and it made it not look so sloppy.
This just felt like it never even started. This is a match you could have easily not even put on the show. I mean, really, 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
I would much rather see Bam Bam and Kamala. I would have rather seen Kamala job out to Bam Bam.
Now we got
They're both healthy.
Yeah, well, no, I agree with you. I mean, I don't know if I want to see either one of those matches, I guess. I don't know that either one would have been better than the other one, but yeah, I think that would have been a little better had Razor's knee not clearly been giving him issues here. I mean, you could tell that from a mile away if you know what you're looking for. That entire match was uncomfortable for me to watch, knowing that clearly there was issues. He was gimping on it a little bit there from time to time, depending on what was going on, and he couldn't take proper bumps. But I'm just saying, what's the point of throwing a 3 minute and 45 second match out there on this show? Like, nobody would have noticed if it was there or not. It did nothing for anyone. Nobody talks about, remember when Razor beat Bob Backlund? I mean, that's unfortunate because you always talk about somebody beating a world champion. Is here IRS is about to hit Beefcake with the beef case for Monday Night Raw.
I will say, like, it's nice that Razor got on the card, for one, get his payday, and two, they probably just forced him on there because they do have things for him. Like, they don't want you to forget that he's not there. He's a big-time player. He was in the main event of the Royal Rumble, not counting the Rumble match. So for him to not be on WrestleMania, and they didn't announce injuries back then, so they can't say, well, he has a leg injury and he won't make it. They didn't want to really kill him or make people, Backlund's doing him no favors and not helping him at all. He still was on Mania. He got a win, and that's probably more important than not being there at all.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, nowadays with an injury like that, they wouldn't even try risking that. They just wouldn't be working the show.
Yeah.
But it's old school mentality. I mean, I get it.
Sorry, buddy. And most people aren't going to miss the Mania payday.
No, right. Not when they have the option not to.
Yeah, exactly.
IRS probably is. What's that? Buy rate? Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. I did write it down, so let me go look. So buy rate wise, let's go back to WrestleMania 5, which is the highest buy rate for a very, very, very long time. 700.
The highest grossing show ever until WrestleMania 23 beat it, and then obviously others beat 23 after. But
I don't know anything about all that kind of stuff. I do know it did big numbers for a very long time. But here, buy rate wise, from just going back to WrestleMania 5 here to WrestleMania 9, WrestleMania 5. 767,000. That was almost triple what 4 did, by the way, for the Mega Powers exploding. Hogan and Warrior dropped down because business was getting a little less, but it was still pretty good. A respectable 550,000 people in the buy rate. WrestleMania 7 dropped to 400,000, so we're starting to slide down the hill. WrestleMania 8, now we go ahead again, 360,000. So we're still tumbling down, but 9 shoots back up. I don't know if it's Hogan's return or what the deal was here in 93, but it actually goes back up from 360 back up to 430,000. So it actually does a little more than even WrestleMania 7 did. There's Vladimir in the crowd, the first ever fan inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Vladimir in the crowd, super fan. And DiBiase's way out. So So Mania here, 9, does better than 7 and 8. But what's funny is if you continue to look ahead, 10, 11, 12, 13, they continue to decline every year, drops down lower than this until you get to 14. I think 14, it finally beats the 430,000. But for 10, 11, 12, 13, they continue to decline every year. So it's very, very low by the time you get to 13, WrestleMania 13. So 9 actually gets a little bit of a boost compared to some of the other ones recently, and then it just falls apart.
Out why.
I think it's Hogan, just right place, right time. I mean, remember Doink and Typhoon did a 3.0 on USA Network. So it's probably not just the wrestling. It's probably just. I
wonder if that's it.
Doink and Typhoon? Oh, look at this red and yellow smoke.
I always like that, by the way. But no, I'm wondering if Raw. I mean, obviously, it's different, man. That's all. But it just makes you wonder if like having Raw, like the newness of Raw and that live feeling, and you feel like you're a part of the storylines week to week instead of canned shit all the time. And maybe it just had a better way of promoting the shows. Obviously, it doesn't carry over to 10, 11, and 12 and all that, but the whole newness of 93 and then having Hogan come out and challenge people and Doink and Typhoon getting a 3.0 rating, which they weren't getting before. So I'm wondering if that's what the difference is. It's just Raw. Raw did it. That the whole new show maybe brought more people into the business or onto the business. Because I didn't watch primetime wrestling. I never watched it as a kid that I remember. I don't remember any of it. But I have a Survivor Series 91 tape that actually has like some random shit from a 91 primetime. I think it was the one with Andre making wine or whatever.
Yeah.
So I never watched it. That was
the first episode.
As soon as Raw
of that
started,
shitty ass.
I tuned in.
Primetime.
Yeah. So like I tuned into Raw and I never missed an episode.
Boom, taking bumps right away.
It just makes you wonder if that's what the cause
I can't
is.
see it.
Nothing's really different.
I don't see the elevated boost by that many tens of thousands of people based on Raw, because Raw wasn't doing that big of numbers. I think it's a little bit of everything. I think it's a little bit of Hogan, a little bit of Raw, a little bit of a few things, a little bit of business just kind of picking back up a little bit here. New talent, new the.
Yeah, but they had that in '92. You can't tell me that a card with Bret and Yoko, Hogan and Beefcake versus Money Inc. is better than Macho Man and Ric Flair, and then Sid and Hogan.
Well, I'm not going to tell you. Well, I can tell you that it was better than Sid and Hogan.
Bret and Piper. Well, on paper.
People weren't watching, though. People weren't watching is the problem. Something got people to watch here.
I wonder if it's Raw. That's interesting.
I hate Hulk Hogan, and I would say it was more Hogan than Raw. I don't think Hogan drew all this either. I think it's a little bit of everything. I don't think Raw was that big of a deal at this point. I don't believe it was. I don't think Rob Bartlett sold WrestleMania like that. I don't see it. I don't see it.
No.
Hey, by the way, I should mention, did you notice that
Brutus the Barber Beefcake is back?
Brutus Beefcake back in the WWF here for WrestleMania IX. Maybe that's what drew the house.
Yeah, that's it.
All day long, brother. Oh, look at his eye.
What a maneuver!
What a maneuver on that eye. Whoever did that just...
What a maneuver! Now that is raw!
That is some raw shit right there, Steve. Right on his eye. Oh, he needs a raw steak on that eye, I'll tell you that.
Now that is raw!
Hulk Hogan rocking a very fucked up eyeball here. It was very noticeable upon entering the arena. There's so many stories out there. Of course, the story here is what, like, DiBiase and IRS paid somebody off to attack him before the show. It's a very disgusting looking eyeball. There's no white in there. It's a lot. It's not a Jake the Snake gimmick either. There's no contact in there. It's just a tried and true black eye. Of course, the stories over the years go from a boating accident, which I think Dave Meltzer's, that was his first initial impression when he reviewed this show, to an incident in the gym, to the Macho Man punched him out for whatever reason. Of course, there's all these rumors and stories and stuff. I think it's come to the conclusion that it was the have you heard anything definitive as far as this black eye goes here on the Hulkster here? Because I've heard in recent years that it definitely wasn't Macho and it was just something else, gym related, or I don't remember. Maybe it was the boat. I don't remember.
I would hope it was the Macho Man.
Well, I hope that was, when I heard that back then, I was hoping that was the story too. But man, that's a hell of a punch, man. I don't even know if Rick Rude make a guy look like that after one punch.
If I wanted to peg my money on something, I would have wished it was that. But that doesn't make any sense because Hogan's been on Raw with Savage there. Like, why would you?
Well, Savage is sitting here putting Hogan over this whole match too.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of laying back a little bit.
He's putting Hogan over the whole time ever since he's.
Oh, he's nose. Oh man, comes. I like that little. That's a little bit of psychology, of course, coming from DiBiase. There, comes off and hits Beefcake in the titanium steel brother. Hits Beefcake in the face with the faceplate or the mask, I should say. And what a bunch of promos those were throughout March, weren't they? The Mega Maniac promos where Hogan's got the briefcase and ramming it in Beefcake's face over and over, just out of nowhere, just blasting him across the face during promos.
Work,
nothing. Beefcake's selling nothing. You know, I never noticed the psychology in this match before because I've never watched this match, even like live. I'm sure I wasn't paying attention to this match. So I'm learning more here this time than I ever have.
The hot start's good. I'll give it that. But as soon as like Money Inc. heads to the back and you get that long 3 or 4 minute delay and what's happening, like that completely kills the match. Because Ted's in the ring the most and he does it over and selling their stuff and looking awesome doing it. But
well, you know,
but no, I would have to lean towards the jet ski accident. I think they just used the angle of IRS paying somebody to have an accident at midnight at night working out. How do you get that accident working?
You can get a dumbbell dropped on your face, I guess. I suppose.
That's going to do a lot more than that.
I don't know. Ask Beefcake. Beefcake's used to getting face injuries, so maybe he would know like what the impact would be of it. But I
slipped on the boat or slipped on a jet ski and busted his face on something. That's what it looks like. He slipped.
I want to know where everything is that was promised here. Where is the pool with the hammerhead sharks and the evil mermaids and the sea urchins and all the hot ladies that were apparently swimming with all these things? Yeah, double big boot. Like where are all these things Hogan promised in his promos? And of course, we know Beefcake's mask has survived the test of time. They've been stress testing it all month long. Everything from steamrollers to tanks to 132 millimeter guns, and I'm sure there were other things
Hogan
I don't even remember.
Middle rope there.
Oh, Hogan, busting out a middle rope double axe handle to Hulkster, brother. He means business.
Hey, Hogan, this isn't Japan, buddy.
That's right. I was about to say. Now, if he does around the world here, if he does the headlock, hammerlock, drop to hold combo, then I know he's in Japan. Oh, he dropped.
He jumped over, or if he does the armbar where he does a flip or goes around the leg and then gets it into an armbar.
Yeah, anything
he does
like
that sometimes too.
Old DiBiase taking that. I should mention, for those who don't know, DiBiase's been out for most of the last month and a half with a herniated disc. He has come back and worked a few matches just to do a couple TV squashes and a nice double doink to the eye, if you will. Good old Roddy Piper move there.
Crowd's getting up for him. I'll say that.
Well, it's a Vegas crowd. They know who Hulk Hogan is. Most of these people probably don't even follow wrestling, would be my guess. But so this is probably what they would enjoy the most. It's kind of like Road Wild or something. You get these crowds that know a few names and then they're kind of, whatever for the rest of the show.
And there we go.
Here we go. Money Inc. gonna
whatever good.
Money Inc. heading to the back. They're going to take the count out and eat the loss, but keep the belts, or so they think. And at some point in this place, the referee's going to talk to Howard Finkel, and we'll get the announcement that if Money Inc. doesn't return to ringside, that I believe the Mega Maniacs are going to be the new tag team champions. Is that right?
Yeah.
Not going to let.
I will say, what's crazy is they're coming out with a Hulk Hogan figure. They did like this thing on WWE where you vote to pick which one you want, and WrestleMania IX won, supposedly.
I have no idea what
However,
that means. I don't even know what's the difference.
Well, they did a vote where where you pick the attire.
Does that mean?
Like
I thought you meant that he was going to come out
attire.
with the black eye and shit. That would have been awesome.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So WrestleMania 9 won, and this is like an Amazon exclusive figure, like an Ultimate Edition. So with the Ultimate Editions, you get like 3 different head scans. And you can just pop them off and switch them up however you want. But one of the head scans has a black eye.
Only one?
So you can get the... Well, yeah, one of them. Like if you want...
Now that is
wrong! Put it on there. Or if you just want like a regular eye Hogan, you can go with that. But,
you want a regular eye Hogan, brother? You want to pretend like Hogan didn't have this eye at WrestleMania 9? You can pop that head on too, brother.
Yeah, exactly. So, or, it's kind of cool. Like, some of these people actually go in and they'll make their own graphics for their action figures and have shows and stop motion and all these pictures. Like, it's incredible some of the stuff that these people do with their action figures. So, the fact that you can get a Hogan with a black eye, you can actually do an angle with that and
Right
snap your pictures. So, I don't do all that corny shit, but
look at his black eye. Look at his black eye.
Now that is raw.
Fucking raw, Steve. IRS choking,
Yeah,
using his
rope,
tie,
yeah.
using his tongue, using his tag rope, using something. I don't know what he's doing.
He's getting choked so bad he has enough time to adjust his knee pad.
Yeah,
That
I know
drives
whenever
me nuts, man.
I know whenever I get choked, I kick my feet around.
Look at him going to sleep there with the... Oh, shit.
Oh, God. And this isn't even the last time we see him on this show.
We'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, that's fucking another fucking unfortunate piece of news.
Oh, man. No.
That did the opposite of make my night. That just ruined my night. I'll tell you that. Way back.
It made my night. It made mine.
I was an unhappy fellow, to say the least.
Dude, I was so excited when this show was over. Not because it was over. Like, I want to watch it again. I wanted to watch it again, like, immediately afterwards.
I wanted to watch it again immediately after, but end it like 3 minutes before it over. Like, I wanted to stop the tape like 3 minutes before it was over.
And what's crazy?
I was happy. I was happy there. I don't know if I thought that was a great finish prior to that, but it was still like, okay, that was acceptable. That was a wrestling show. And then shenanigans.
I will say, like, that's a sweet jacket. I never noticed that.
Oh.
But, no, that's pretty cool. But, no, anyway, back in the day, like, they would show the replay right away, but it's not like it used to be, or how it is now on these pay-per-views. Like, you had to do some shenanigans, like you mentioned, just to get your feed to come through. You had to go to, like, channel 12 for 20 minutes and then go back to channel 4, whatever channel it was. I don't even know. But you had to call and order it and do all this crap just to get prepared for the pay-per-view. And
we were very lucky. We had, it's been out of service for like 30 years, but several cable companies that bought one, that bought the next one, that bought the next one.
Yeah.
We would always get the second one for free. So we would watch the first one and then the second one would come on. And if we didn't want to, in the 80s and in the early 90s, there was a cable company, probably very, very local, because based on the name of it's called North Coast Cable. So we had North Coast Cable, and then they changed over to, I'm not familiar with the order of it went, but eventually Cablevision did buy them, and it went to another one, which I can't even think of the names of them off the top of my head now. It wasn't until the late 90s, or the mid to late 90s, that all of a sudden they weren't airing the second pay-per-view. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I called them and I go, hey, why aren't you airing this? Oh, we don't do that. I go, yeah, you did. You've done it since like 1989 at least that I remember. Well, that was, the other cable company. We don't show them. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I've already paid you for it. I don't know why I'm having this. Well, DiBiase's like, Hulk Hogan's asleep in the ring right now, so I guess it's okay to share this story. But I'm sitting there arguing with this lady like she's going to do anything about it. And I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. I've already paid you for it. All you're doing is showing me it again. Like, so what's the big deal? I've watched the last 40 pay-per-views like this. Well, we don't do that. So we got into the period where they stopped doing that eventually. But no, back during this time period from, at least I remember for sure, at least from Royal Rumble 89 on, where we always got the replay.
Yeah, I never got them. Like, it would cut off. Well, on WrestleMania 9, it got through like half of the Tatanka match. I'm like, oh, they're going to let me watch it again? and then it cuts off. I'm like, shit. I wouldn't have went to bed, dude. I would have watched it again if it stayed on. Obviously, I had it on tape and I recorded it and everything.
Beefcake.
But
no, man, I wouldn't blame you, man. That would have been fun. But especially when you don't normally get that every time. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we're going to get it again. And then it cut out. I can't even remember who we had. But you had the request feed, right? Is that who you had? Or did they all do them all?
Viewer's Choice, I think it was called. Viewer's Choice.
Yeah, we had requests where it's like, you choose the best. I remember that.
There was we had two pay-per-view channels, Viewer's Choice and Request. Request typically aired one movie for 24 hours, and then it would be another movie for 24 hours. Viewer's Choice was the one that they would show the pay-per-views on.
Gotcha. We're talking about shit that nobody ever has to deal with.
Millennials don't have to deal with it. They don't know what we're talking about. They're like, fuck this. They've probably turned off our fucking watch along. But Hulk Hogan was in a motherfucking chin lock for the last 5 minutes. So fuck you.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
They would have no clue.
Now that is raw.
And that's fucking raw, and you can take that to the bank. And hot tag to Brutus Beefcake because
Brutus the Barber Beefcake is back.
He's back, and he's fired up in the ring here. And this whole big build up to Brutus returning, for the last couple of months, it leads to nothing here. It's like, here's Brutus, gets the old high knee in, get the high knee. And DiBiase takes it. Wow.
That's that great bump.
Yeah, great bump.
Oh, he snapped his head on that one.
Boom.
Snapped his head back on the ground there.
Poor Teddy.
This match isn't terrible, man. It's bad because of the people don't like the people that are in it.
It is not
That's what
good,
it is.
Dude. There's the briefcase shot.
Not horrible. Come on, man. This is not horrible.
Do you know how long this match goes?
I know it goes a long time.
At least twice as long as it needs to go.
Oh, I agree with you there, but it's not like a horrific match.
IRS dropping that elbow.
This is a typical WWF tag match.
Well, IRS and Brutus Beefcake are in this match, so I'm just saying.
That's terrible.
Well, that's the problem. If it was just Ted and staying in the ring the whole time, it would have been.
Well, yeah, then it would be good, but it's not that, so it's not good. So, although Ted was in the ring that entire time, he sit there and had Hogan in a damn chin lock for 5 fucking minutes. Hogan didn't even trust IRS to do it. Man. I'm not selling for IRS, brother. Teddy, you come in here and put me in the chin lock, dude.
Ted,
God, you can go back to Hogan's first night in the company. Going over Ted DiBiase way back when. Long ago.
He had to take a nap because he has to get ready for what happens later on.
That's right, brother, because he has a great idea.
Is Ted busted on the nose there?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah, I think he is. I never noticed that either.
What about this awesome mask? Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
Trying to rip that mask off his face. Not even a tank. Cool. Not even a fucking tank. Oh, look at it coming off, too. Oh, he took it off. Oh, a tank couldn't do anything to it. But Ted DiBiase, give him about 10 seconds. He just rips the mask right off. Now all of a sudden, Beefcake's face is like super. Like it's just everything hurts it now. You can just touch it and it hurts. Like DiBiase punched him once and he acts like he's gonna die. What do we got going on here? Oh no, these evil heels.
Wouldn't that take the effect of the mask? Like, shouldn't it be that simple if he takes the mask? Like, if they need the mask.
I got to go back to the story Hogan told where he said he realized he shouldn't be worried for Beefcake because he has titanium steel plates in his face from Nassau, brother. Or NASA, if you pronounce it like a normal human being. Yeah. So Hogan put it over like he's not worried at all. Like, these steel plates are like super duper awesome.
Well, that begs the question, too, right? If he has titanium steel plates and the mask is made of titanium steel, aren't they one and the same?
You would think that it's like extra support. I would imagine. Like they needed that. Like look, they needed that on there. Going for the sleeper again for the second time in the match.
Look at this bastard.
He's selling.
Took all that punishment. He should have went for the hot tag, but he goes. He's selfish.
You're selfish. Too damn selfish. And that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. What a bump by the ref. Is that Hebner? It's got to be Hebner because Hogan's in the match.
It is Hebner.
Yeah, because Hogan's in the match. I figured it was Hebner. Hebner taking a head over heels bump there. Yeah. 3 guys go down, and DiBiase too. 4 guys go down, and the ref takes the best bump of the 4.
That's right.
Tag him, baby! Tag him! Beans and taters! Oh, Jimmy Hart. Can't help thinking Jimmy Hart. I was confused who the referee was and who was IRS there for a second. The same gear almost. Oh, DiBiase tags in, but hot tag to the Hulkster, brother. See how we picked up? We picked up after that chin lock. We're awake now again. It's like rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Do you think
I hope everybody stuck with us through that viewer's choice conversation. What's that? Hit him with the mask.
They're wishing it was Warrior. It almost looks like Warrior face.
Yeah, it does look like the Warrior's paint. Look at this shit here. Oh, I'm going to turn my jacket inside out. I just happen to have stripes on the other side. So ridiculous.
Why didn't you just continue to wake up the ref?
Yeah, why would you do this like this counts? Like, why would this count? Why would you've been a manager for like 800 years? 1, 2, 3. Yes. The Mega Maniacs. That's all we need. That's all we need. They would have never dropped the belts. They would have never been new tag team champions.
How is that a DQ?
Hogan got caught using the face mask, I believe. Would be my guess. Look at Hogan can't even climb to the middle rope. Look, he still can't. Oh, fucking dude. Oh, here comes. Well, we already had the double doink shit with the extra referee. Now Danny Davis is out here. He's turning heel again.
Man, shenanigans, bro.
Hogan couldn't even climb to the middle rope. He fell off twice. Fuck it, brother.
Now that is raw.
Fucking raw. Hulk Hogan can't even climb up on the damn fucking ropes.
Dude, he's 6'8".
What does that have to do with what does that have to do with climbing up on a rope? You're 6'8", it shouldn't take nothing. Uh-oh. Well, he's used to taking bumps. Danny Davis going to eat it here. Oh, you're going to come. Uh-oh. No selling tag title shots. Let's no sell everything, brother. That was Hogan's plan. That was his first plan for the night. We're not going to sell anything, brother. Money Inc. hit both of them with belts. They both, even Beefcake no sells. And now Danny Davis is going back to 1987. Going old school here. Pleading off, please, guys. No. Jimmy Hart wants a piece of Danny Davis, who alerts Hebner of the cheating. A lot of extra referee work here. There goes Danny. Whoa, nice bump by Danny Davis. So the referees, both of the referees, take the 2 best bumps of this entire match.
I don't mind this match. You can bag on it all day. I'm not going to stop you from doing that, but it is what it is, and it wasn't terrible.
18 minutes and 27 seconds of a IRS and Brutus Beefcake and Hulk Hogan match. And Ted DiBiase not at his best either, but there's Brutus doing a little strutting, no cutting.
It didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like that long.
Oh,
it didn't.
I don't know. It did to me.
Maybe it's because I'm talking to you or something. But
there was that 5-minute headlock in the middle, so it had to be 18 minutes.
That was the $1 Million Dream. He had the $1 Million Dream on him that whole time.
It looked like a friggin' chin lock. Well, I might have been thrown off. When he applied it, I thought he had it on, but then he had it on so long, I'm like, it's got to be a chin lock. So I'm not spitting out, Hogan's going to do a little strutting. I'm not spitting out factual shit then, I guess. So it was a $1 Million Dream. Makes a little more sense, but that's a long time to be in the $1 Million Dream. Hogan treating it like a chin lock.
Well, the problem is when he sat down, he slouched all the way over, and that's when it made it look ridiculous. But I don't know, man. Like, rightfully so, it gets trashed. I get it. It's fine, but it's not. It is. I would rather watch this match 2 hours straight than have to watch Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez one time. You can't change my mind on that, because that's. At least these guys can move.
Look at this
Ted DiBiase looked awesome. He did a great job selling. And the kids are having fun right now.
Sure. Whatever you say. If they're having fun, that's fine with me. I wasn't having fun, and I have less fun as the show goes on. Yeah, there are foam fingers out there. It was nice to sell those again, I'm sure. Yeah.
I love those foam fingers. They're pretty cool. Not necessarily Hogan, just
I hated all the
just
foam
in
things.
general.
They weren't my deal. My dad took me to a show at the Richfield Coliseum once. He came back, of all things, with a foam Undertaker tombstone. But at the same time, it was like, first of all, you can't really hold that and go, "Yay, Undertaker!" With the entrance and things. But at the same time, it was like, man, give me anything but a fucking foam. Go get me a Bret Hart glasses or whatever the hell else they had. Which I did end up getting some of those at one point, but it was just like, I didn't want this. I didn't say that, but I was just thinking, this is the last. I don't know what else is back there, but this is the last thing I wanted.
I went to one and I got the giant, the
Hogan
big green,
posing forever.
the big green Macho Man hat.
Yeah.
Foam
the hat.
I had that one. Yeah, the big foam hat. They did the same gimmick with the smoking guns too. But
I'm sure they sold tons of those.
I was like, I wanted it, but I was like, my dogs are going to chew this up. If I don't keep it up, my dogs are going to get a hold of it, and I'm not going to have it anymore. And sure enough, 3 days later, it got left on the ground, and I didn't have a hat no more.
They're gonna open the golden briefcase. What's inside, brother?
Briefcase right there.
Oh, is that the beefcase? Is that the one they used to shatter his face? I thought they busted out the golden one for WrestleMania.
Well, they said that there's going to do the beefcase.
Oh.
They was getting the armor.
There was a brick inside, brother. One fucking brick. Oh, no, wait. There's some papers. There was a brick.
Tax forms.
One brick? Is that all there was? One brick? Oh, it's some cash.
Love this. Giving away his money.
Give away the cash. Give it to Mary Tyler Moore. Oh, wrong WrestleMania.
Pay the fans, brother. Pay the fans, brother.
Give it back to the rich ones in the front row.
Yeah. Jimmy Hart acting like he never seen money before in his life.
Jimmy Hart probably pocketed half of that money.
Payday he's ever had. Huh?
I said Jimmy Hart probably pocketed some of that money. Every one of these guys in the ring, Carney's
selling this shit too.
Oh man, this is going on longer than the match. I hate this worse than the actual match at this point.
That dude just snatched 6 bills right out of Hogan's hand.
Well, hey, man.
And I love how all 3 of them go to the same side. Give it all to
it's Hulk Hogan. They're just going to follow him, dude. Probably the same guy. Got, shit from all 3 of them.
Oh, Hogan, man, you just missed the dude who painted his face like you for you. Look at Brutus being real slow with it. Hogan's gone.
Natalie Cole. From the daughter of Nat King Cole. What a random person to be at WrestleMania.
She probably had a Vegas residence or something.
That would be my guess. She's probably performing out in Vegas. But it's just what an odd person to give a comp ticket to. I mean, I guess
probably the only one who wanted to do it.
Yeah, I can't think. I don't think there's any other celebrities on this. Well, there's this guy
right there.
What's that?
See that dude's shirt back there, the pink one, the pink WWF one?
I missed it.
This is the CEO here. He looks like he has Father Jane Mitchell's eyebrows.
He looks like he's in the mafia for sure. There we go. Caesar's Palace. I see the purple and pink Caesar's Palace shirt. Back there.
No, that dude right there, the white, the hat.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, that guy.
Looks like a pink WWF logo.
Okay,
that's the fan club T-shirt right there.
Well, that's why he's got a close seat. You know, those fan clubs people, they got offered the tickets earlier than everybody else.
Oh, that's worth it right there. To be fair,
I suppose.
WrestleMania tickets, hell yeah, I'll go.
The CEO is everybody's getting interviewed here. Poor Todd just got to kill time. Well, he looks like he's going to go do some shady dealing somewhere when he gets done here. And he probably is, too. He's CEO of a freaking casino.
Can't be that trustworthy. He does look like he looks like John Gotti, too. This dude checking all the boxes here.
Let's go to Mean Gene. Listen to Mr. Perfect talk about the Narcissist.
Here, but that's another story. Athleticism. Here is the man that personifies athleticism. I'm talking about a man that does it all, perfectly. Mr. Perfect. But what about the reputation that your opponent has garnered as of late? the Narcissist Lex Luger with that devastating forearm. Very controversial, I might add. As a matter of fact, he has been knocking out opponents right and left. Most recently, at a brunch that I attended today, he absolutely knocked out Bret the Hitman Hart. That's got to be a concern to you.
You know, he considers himself a knockout artist. That's what he calls himself. Lex Luger, the Narcissist. You come out and tell everybody that you're beyond perfection. You give Bret Hart a cheap shot today at a breakfast benefit. What's wrong with you, pal? You got to carry a mirror around with you to show yourself that you are the great person that you really think you are. This is WrestleMania, Mean Gene. I'm on a roll this week. I got a hole-in-one playing golf. I've been hot at the tables. Mr. Perfect is exactly what he says he is. Perfect. And tonight, the Narcissist
Lex Luger.
I'm going to go do it right now. I've had it. I'm so excited. It's WrestleMania. Watch what happens.
By the way, don't go too far away. I want to go to the tables with you. Right now, let's get back to action at ringside. And once again, Finkus Maximus. Oh, yeah.
See, everybody thought I screwed up before we went into the promo, but I knew Kurt Hennig was going to get that name wrong.
Gene. My God.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Now that is raw.
That is raw.
He has a match. He has a match to do.
Yeah.
Why the hell are you telling him to hang on? I got to go to the tables with
He's
you.
perfect, man. You got to make some money, right? Mean
You're on
Gene.
the left there. Jesus. This is the best part of this show right here.
I enjoyed it back in those days. You could see that a lot on normal television. Or pay-per-view or whatever it was.
Who didn't enjoy this?
The wind kind of sucks here. It kind of screws up the pyro for them, but wow.
Oh, yeah.
Now that is raw.
You make sure they get all of them.
I know,
all
right?
4 of them.
Take your time.
You get all 4 of them.
Take your time.
Jesus. Good night. Hello.
And part of those like documentary pieces too, we see earlier in the day, Vince in the ring being the narcissist, Lex Luger. He's in there showing Lex how to enter the ring with these ladies, what he's going to do, pose, and things like that. Of course, the wind kind of screws this up a little bit as far as the pyro goes on these mirrors. But I like the idea they were going for anyway.
Yeah, me too. Just think, dude, if they would have done this now, it would have been a 6-hour pay-per-view, and they would have saved him for the night, so the pyro you can actually see it. You know?
Yeah,
That's what they did for Naomi.
I don't know that if I noticed the wind picking up really till that Hogan match.
Yeah, Lex Luger looking like $1 million.
Yeah,
he's enjoying this.
He did. If only he'd gotten over like $1 million.
Man, the producer, whoever, has this. They know exactly what to do.
And there goes the pyro blowing to the left there. Luger taking a pose.
It still looks cool.
It's cool. It's different. I mean, you never see anything like it. I mean, that's not typical of even wrestling entrances back in those days. You didn't get special entrances back in 1993 for the most part. So Luger showing off a little ab work there.
Back up here. Definitely not.
No, definitely not. No. And I agree with you. I thought, man, this is, it's a big deal for me. I was a big Luger fan in WCW, and then Mr. Perfect, my favorite too. So I was pumped. I mean, I didn't really care for the Narcissist gimmick. I got what it was supposed to be, but I didn't really get it to the point where it was over with me. Like, I wasn't like, yeah, this is cool.
Is great. This is great here too. I wonder if this is planned or she just really wanted it.
I don't think it was planned. No, I don't buy it was planned here, where Perfect passes the ladies here.
She likes what she saw.
That's just what the girls do down there, man.
Especially when you're around Mr. Perfect.
He's like, get your herpes fingers off me, lady. Maybe later.
Well, the problem with this match is, and according to Luger in his book, he said that he never wanted to lead a match. He didn't want to do it.
No, I would believe that all day long.
He didn't want to at all ever. Like, even when he was the Hills lead the match, he didn't want it. He never did it. He barely did it. Maybe once or twice leading into this match, and then Mr. Perfect was supposed to do it because Luger didn't want to. And when the match started, I guess Perfect forgot what they were going to do, or he wasn't able to do it. So Luger had to lead the match, and this is what we get. That's according to his book. If I remember correctly, they had some issues here. So,
no, yeah, that's the thing. There's just certain days you can memorize 80 moves if you need to, and there's other days where you walk out there and your mind's just blank and you don't know why, and you're just like, shit.
I will say, man, it's probably Vegas probably isn't the easiest place to stay focused on the task at hand.
No, definitely.
No matter what show it is, like Vegas, WrestleMania or what, it doesn't matter. There's so many distractions and so many vices that can take you away from what you're supposed to be doing. These dudes could be shooting dice or drinking in the back, waiting for their match. Who knows? Like you're right there to everything. Everything's at your disposal. So who knows what happened? But
I believe the story, but at the same time, Hennig's been in the business so long that even if you don't remember anything you have planned, you should be able to put together something.
Call it in the ring.
Yeah. To some degree. I mean, like right now they're not lost. They're trading moves. Even Luger, I'm impressed Luger knows how to reverse a hammerlock. I've never seen him do that before.
Yeah, I was really, really excited for this match because I liked Lex Luger even back then. Like I thought he was. You just know, like when certain people come into the company, like they mean more. You know, like Jim Ross just felt like he was important, even if you didn't know him. He feels important. He sounds important. He sounds different, and he's there for a reason. You see Lex Luger, and you can tell this guy, they really want to push him to something. He's not just another gimmick coming in. He's going to be huge.
Oh, I love the way Hennig would clear people with those leapfrogs. You didn't really leap over them. You like ran over top of them. Nice drop kick. At this point, I can't tell that he has forgotten anything. So I don't know if we're at that point in the match or what, but he hasn't stopped or even had to take a second to think. I mean, he's just boom, boom, boom. He's go, go, go so far anyway. But that could very well change her momentarily.
It does change because this match falls apart somewhere.
Oh, it does. I know that it does. Yeah, I remember it not being too pretty.
It sucks too because these two can. I'm not saying Lex Luger's 1989 Lex Luger, but it's still Lex Luger, and he can put on a decent match when he wants to. But Mr. Perfect can go win every night. But so on paper, this is like, oh, this is going to be excellent, and then it just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, now is probably the best time as any, especially with them two in the ring against each other. We won't really see that ever again, so probably the best time to tell the old story between these two, where Hennig would work the Narcissist on the house shows nightly, and every night he would pull just another one or two of those tassels you'd see right there hanging from Luger's trunks off of his gear. And Luger being OCD as it is, he would notice it and it would drive him nuts, and more would disappear each time they would wrestle. And Hennig he would never make it obvious. He wouldn't take 10 or 20 of them off so you could see what was it. One or two every night, just until you finally notice, where the hell are all of my tassels going off of my trunks here? So it's always it's just another Mr. Perfect rib. And I love it because it's not immediate. It's not like I want to get your reaction today. It's like over the course of time. I'm going to take a couple today and a couple tomorrow and a couple the next day until finally, if you have 100 tassels hanging from your trunks, you start realizing it slowly but surely, right? And it's classic Mr. Perfect. It's a little more creative than shitting in somebody's crown anyway.
Yeah, Luger's not, he doesn't have counted how many he's hanging there, but when you have a whole, I bet you Perfect probably picked, maybe 2 from the left front, 3 from the right front, 2 from the back, and then, because if you do it that way, you can.
I don't know if he was memorizing it all like that, but yeah, I get.
No, I mean, like, you're not going to take it from the same spot every time. Like, I would take 2 from here, 2 from there, 2 from here, and until finally you start to notice a large batch out of them, but it's gonna be like a month and a half later.
What the hell's going on with my tassels? Yeah.
They just keep falling off. But I don't know if you ever noticed the old Hasbro card. If you look at the green card of the 1, 2, 3 kid, he has no eyebrows.
No, I've never seen that.
So if you go look it up, you can go look it up if you don't believe me. Anybody listening, if you don't believe me, I just learned this like 2 days ago. But the kid has no eyebrows on the card. So whenever they took that picture, his eyebrows got shaved. Well, he thought it was the smoking gun. So like the next night after he got his eyebrows shaved, he super glued their hats to their forehead. So they were like stuck to their forehead to get him back. And come to find out, it was actually Mr. Perfect who shaved the eyebrows of the kid. And he didn't find out until like a couple years later who did it. But yeah, it was Hennig who shaved his eyebrows while he was asleep.
Yeah, that's classic Kurt.
I'd be terrified to be in the same locker room with Owen, Hennig, and Mr. Fuji. Like, one of them's gonna get you. And even didn't Davey Boy do ribs or?
Yeah, it was more of a Dynamite, I think, more so.
Dynamite just wanted to treat people like shit.
If you want to call what he did ribs, yeah. Oh, backbreaker.
He just wanted to hurt people.
Yeah, he's
to me, like right
Napoleon
here,
complex.
Like
I think Dynamite had.
Yeah, to me, this is Luger taking over, and he's calling it now.
Yeah, and he doesn't know what to do. Hennig, this is probably where it really did fall apart. Especially was Luger's in control, and he's having to call his own moves here instead of Hennig going, This is how we'll go into the press slam. This is how we're going to go into this. Instead, it's just Luger he's really lost. I mean, he's throwing Hennig around a little bit, kind of just moving him here, moving him there.
He's like, I think I want to work the back, but I don't know how to put 4 or 5 moves together in a row
to work the back.
To get there. I
don't even know. Well, there's a move called the backbreaker, which he just did. So yeah, Hennig. Oh man, that was rough.
I don't know why Hennig twirled there. Oh,
he was supposed to run into his foot.
Right, but he twirled like that's got right up on him, and I think
it's a common spot. The guys will do that when they're supposed to run into a foot. It just bides time while you're playing to the crowd. Unfortunately, Luger didn't get his foot up, and he only caught it with a knee. But okay, it's
nice power slam.
Where it is,
working the back again.
Now he's out of moves though. That's the problem. He's got a forearm.
Yeah, he's done a back break. You can tell they fell off because they're doing a live at Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, they're like, Vince is like, put something up, damn it.
This is
whoa. He like jumped 3 feet over top of Luger to execute a sunset flip. Now he's going to a sleeper. Now they're both lost because Hennig's locking in a sleeper hold. Luger breaks out of it immediately. Yeah, this is not good.
It was like the first 3 or 4 minutes of this match is really, really good. 2 or 3 minutes.
Until Luger powders. It's just like after he gets back in the ring, they don't know where they're at.
It's neither one of them. I think that's where the problem is. Like Luger has to call this, and he has no clue how, and he has no idea what the hell to do either because he forgot what he wanted to do. Did you see this on the house? Did you see this at a show?
I don't remember seeing this on the house. I can't say that I have or haven't. I've seen results of shows I've been to, and I was like, oh, I saw that. I didn't remember seeing that guy wrestle ever. Uh-oh. Inside Cradle. You can tell Hennig's just doing these hope spots because he's just trying to get something going here.
He's trying to get home.
Because he's having Luger cut him off repeatedly, like immediately. Now he's just making a random comeback out of the blue. An inside Cradle and then a backdrop. Yeah, it's very, very awkward. They're all over the place.
I was just wondering if it was better. Oh, ugly spot. Luger, if you're not going to sell it, don't do it.
Hennig's usually the one that takes this. Luger taking a catapult. We'll see how this looks. Oh, it wasn't bad.
Oh, that
was all right. Yeah, for Luger, I'll take that. Oh, there's the old axe punch.
The axe.
Yeah, nails him with the axe, and he gets right up. Way to sell my daddy's finisher.
Yeah. Yeah, bitch. No.
There's the other. There it is. That's the axe.
Sell it, you asshole.
1, 2.
Yeah, these guys are lost, man.
Dropping the strap.
Down. I love the neon green, though. Man, it just feels different than the blue and everything else. That neon right there, it just pops. Perfect's awesome, man.
Yeah, he was always one of my favorites. Blocks the atomic drop. Boom, just lays some.
How could you not like it?
Shit. He's clearly run out of things here. I don't know if he's got. I don't see any reason why he'd have a concussion. but he's just unloading on him with all these punches, these axe shots, and a swinging neck breaker, which Hennig never does. He's just
a lot of these moves Hennig never done. He never does these in his matches.
Right.
So you can tell they're just throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah, he's just doing anything at this point. He's like, well, I know how to do that. There's a drop kick. Ooh, that was not pretty.
Drop kick off the top rope.
1 foot.
Did you slap him in the face?
I didn't see it. I didn't catch that. I'll have to go back and look at that at some point.
Slapped him in the face.
Luger throws a punch and Hennig doesn't even duck, and Luger still misses. So we're going to the finish now. They're struggling.
I think this was the finish that they were supposed to do.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that's the finish.
Getting there was horrendous.
1, 2, 3. Hennig has his feet on the ropes. The referee doesn't see it, so he doesn't stop the count. Luger picks up the win with that backslide. Hennig going to argue with the referee afterwards, but that doesn't last very long here. Luger sneaking up behind him, and boom! Knocks Hennig out with that forearm.
Well, you know what? So I'm wondering if all the forearm smashes from Perfect were on purpose. Like, I know we speculated he could be lost, but if you think about it, and this is maybe giving both of these guys too much credit for this night, but he hits him with that forearm 3 times, and Luger's able to come back from it. Luger hits him 1 time with it, and he's out cold. So it's like, okay, my forearm's different than yours. What's going on?
I don't know. I've watched enough wrestling that felt more like I'm lost. I'm just gonna. This is my go-to.
Yeah, I got it. But I'm wondering if that's something that they wanted to do to establish it, because they're really, really starting to push it, like we talked about on last week's Grenade, of what's going on with the forearm. Why are people not getting up from this? And
right.
Gene, even in the interview, said there's a lot of controversy surrounding his forearm, and then his forearm knocked out Bret at the brunch this morning.
I'll tell you what,
WrestleMania.
It didn't keep him out for long. Credit. Yeah, I think so. But Hennig back up, and I love this. He's like, did this motherfucker just knock me out? Did this son of a bitch? I love this part. We're gonna pick this up. We're gonna listen to audio here for a minute.
On his face.
What a quitter. What a coward.
Oh, come on. We're going to stay right here.
Stay with Mr. Perfect, man. He's hot.
Oh, he's mad. And I know what Mr. Perfect's like when he gets mad. It won't do him any good. He goes back there and looks for Luger and finds him. He's going to be out cold again.
You better be glad he's not looking for you.
Perfect is certainly...
Look at him walk. This is WrestleMania IX. He's been embarrassed. He thinks he's been embarrassed.
Walking outside here.
There he is.
There's Luger with Shawn Michaels. And the fight is beginning. They're up in the garage now.
I told you right there.
Storage area.
Shawn Michaels from behind.
Michaels, the Intercontinental Champion.
It's not your fight.
Cheap shots.
Man.
What a cheap shot in this attack by Michaels.
Stay on him.
Metal trash can. And whatever's not tied down the sticks is kicking him in the chest.
Tackle him.
Back there. And the officials. Michaels really assaulting Mr. Perfect. Oh, man. I'll tell you something. What happened? What a volatile.
That was so unique for its time. Like, you didn't see stuff like that. Very rarely do you see somebody get angry and then go backstage after someone. And we saw Shawn and Marty do it. Now we see Shawn do it to Hennig here, who's going after Lex Luger. It's so different for the time. Not only do you get to go backstage and see what's going on back there, how everything's set up back there, but Shawn's out of his ring gear. He's just in some jeans. He's getting involved in a fight that had nothing to do with him. You're already moving away from the Luger-Hennig feud straight into the Shawn Perfect feud. But then he beats him down and hits him right over the head with the rim of the garbage can, just right down on his head.
That had to hurt.
Yeah, that was... There's no faking that. There's no way around that.
He didn't look too happy. Why does Gorilla have like the smallest stick on his microphone? Like it's like engulfed in his head. But like Gene Okerlund has a damn stick that goes down to his pec area. Like, what the hell's going on?
Well, they ran out of those big long ones, so Gorilla gets stuck with, because Gorilla's got less time on the TV. So he gets one that he can barely wrap his hands around. A good point. I didn't even notice
barely
that.
Fit it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Jim Ross is Jim Ross's microphone was about 2 feet long at the beginning of the show. And your Gorilla said,
"Hell, look at Finks.
Gorilla's
2 feet long.
Hand, it's shorter than Gorilla's hand. Poor Gorilla.
It looks like that Andre holding a beer gimmick. That's what it looks like."
Well, here it comes, and now he has no package anymore. Now it's the Giant Gonzalez, and his costume has changed. His fur is no more. It's now all airbrush, including the fur airbrushed onto his body.
The airbrush even looks like a different color too.
You'll notice something there, or not notice something here. I wouldn't want to be that fan. You just reach on, grab him, yank him.
With the wrong guy.
Yeah,
messing with the
grab
wrong guy.
Yank you over the rail real fast. There's some parts missing, but we can see he has an ass. The Giant Gonzalez has an ass airbrushed onto his costume. I don't even know if that's legal, but here it is.
Oh my God. She should be seeing that.
You could argue whatever you want about some of the last few matches on this show, but we have finally got there, Steve. The wheels are about to completely come off this show.
Oh man, we should have saved the request talk for this. The viewer's choice.
Well, we got to make things lively with the here comes the green smoke.
We have a nice entrance, and that's about all good. That's the only
about
good
the end
thing
of
we
this
can
one.
say about this this whole entire segment.
Oh, there's a yellow urn, or that's an urn. There you go.
That's what you had.
Foam urn. No, I had a gray tombstone.
Oh, okay. You had the gray tombstone. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That urn's pretty popular. They actually re-released it as like a 30th anniversary gift. Those things sell for good money, man. Got a vulture. I wonder what Undertaker was thinking with a vulture like 2 feet from his head there. Like, was he just calm, cool? I mean, those are, they are deceptively, they're a lot bigger than they look or appear to be. The wing spread, those are big birds. They're nasty. I'm surprised Vince didn't try to sign that dude right there on the right. My God, that dude is jacked. Surprised Vince didn't sign all those guys. Well, had the WBF stuck around, maybe. Yeah, that bird has his feet stuck and his mouth taped. He ain't doing nothing to Undertaker. Is the mouth taped? I didn't even notice that. He has unless that's just his normal hair color. Yeah, that's not a bird you allow to fly free, for sure. No, that bird's not having any of it, whatever they do have on him. Well, this is a match. I saw this live too on the same show I saw Crush and Doink work. I did get to see the Giant Gonzalez at least one time in my life. Oh man. Did you sit like ringside or like? No, just lower level. Lower level. Okay. For this. So how was he massive like in person? Oh yeah, absolutely. It was towering. And you almost kind of get over the nonsensical outfit for a minute just because you're in awe of the size, how tall he is. It's just next level. Like, wow, I don't walk around meeting guys that size. And I know there have been some NBA players and things like that over the years that have been around that height as well. So it's not like completely unheard of, but it's insane, man. I hate to put it over, but maybe the costume even kind of enhances it a little bit just because it's more ridiculous. Although he was pimping there in the suits. He was wearing those 3-piece suits there on the weekend TV shows going into WrestleMania. Wonder how much those cost. Like a custom-made 3-piece suit for a dude 7'7", 7'8". You know, I got to give him credit too. The boots, actually, the airbrush on the boots blend right into the costume. Like you can't tell where the boots end and the costume begins. I always thought the costume has to be on top of the boots. You think they airbrushed the boots? I just saw a shot from behind, a close up, and it looked like I saw the separation of the boots from the costume. So that's why I even mentioned that. But I don't know. That would be next level. I have no doubt Vince spent some money on this. It was also around the time that he first debuted that the same exact costume, I believe the one with fur on it actually, was on an episode of Baywatch. He was in Baywatch as a sideshow freak who was mistreated, kind of like Kamala, who turns babyface and gets away from the sideshow freak guy, the guy that runs the show, and he turns babyface and helps out David Hasselhoff's son or something.
But it was so funny watching him play this babyface character on this TV show in the middle of this Undertaker shit here.
Wow. I feel bad for him.
I do too, from the stories you hear. I mean, the guy can't help it. He was put in these positions. He was signed to the Atlanta Hawks. They realized that because he had played for basketball over in Argentina, and then they realized when he got here that his knees were shot, or he just simply couldn't get, I don't know that his knees were shot, but he couldn't get around enough for an actual NBA player. He couldn't get up and down the court the way they needed him to, but he'd already been signed to an Atlanta Hawks contract, which Ted Turner owned. So Turner owned him, so he just moved him over to WCW way before he was ready. And other than like the 2-minute little segments he would have with Ric Flair, it wasn't happening there either. And then he shows up here, and I always get a kick. I don't know if you noticed this or not, and maybe you did. In those documentary clips that they show from WrestleMania IX, like the earlier in the day stuff, Hulk Hogan comes in. Literally, you watch Hulk Hogan arrive in the building. And as he arrives, who's the first person he goes over to? The Giant Gonzalez. And shakes his hand. Because what does he see? Money, brother. Yeah. I get a kick out of that because I'm thinking Hogan right there. I'm like, oh, that's exactly who you would go over to.
Yeah. Yeah, it just stinks, man. He can't help it. Yeah, you're tall, but that's really all you got. Like, you just got height. He's not athletic. I mean, he's athletic to a degree, but you're very limited with what you can do when you're that big. I mean, there's nobody going to run like a 4.3 40 when they're 7'8". It's not going to happen. You're just not. It's impossible. So, to me, like, if you can't run, you're probably not going to be a good wrestler, because you can't run around or walk around and look very slow, because then you're just going to look sloppy and out of shape and not very good. And that's part of the problem that you get with Giant Gonzalez. He's just too big.
So I didn't
do what you need him to.
I didn't memorize the story. I don't know if you even know it off the top of your head either. But there's the story going, Undertaker made some comments about this particular feud, this particular match, this particular WrestleMania and things like that. Oh, wait, hold on 1 second.
I've just been informed that Shawn Michaels has left the building.
Okay, well, now that Shawn Michaels has left the building, I would too, after what he did to Kurt Hennig for this match.
Yes.
But I want to go back. Do you remember the story that's told, like what Undertaker said about the story with the Giant Gonzalez? If not, I'll just kind of go off of what I kind of remember about it anyway.
I know he was begging to work Yoko, and Vince is like, no, I got somebody else for you. And then he kind of turns his head and looks in the back of the corner of his eye, and he sees the Giant Gonzalez, and he's like, that's who you're getting. And he kind of just dropped his head and was like, shit. So, yeah, he didn't want to do this. But Undertaker is a pro's pro. He made the best of it. He did what he could. He's trying his hardest here to get him over and selling for him, and there's just nothing you can do.
No, I mean, he does the best he can with what he's got, but he doesn't really have a whole lot. And the only part of the story I really remember, and Undertaker told this in some way, shape, or form somewhere, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember exactly how he told it. It was more funny when he told it, but he was being serious. Years later, he would still bring this up to him. You made me wrestle to Vince. You made me wrestle the Giant Gonzalez. Like, that would be his response whenever Vince would make him do shit he didn't want to do, or not question his loyalty, but like Taker's basically giving proof of his loyalty, kind of like, you made me wrestle the Giant Gonzalez. Kind of like that was his thing. Like, it stuck with him for years after this. Like, it just stuck in the back of his head. He hated this. He really hated this. Not the man. Everybody says, Elegante, Jorge Gonzalez was a really good guy, and apparently a ladies' man as well, or at least he enjoyed women. But at the same time, if you're working him, you can resent actually having to work him, which I would get here.
Yeah, I would too. I get it. Like, it makes sense. I'm sure Taker probably has no issues with him as a person. It's just he knows what shit's going to be, and this is it. He probably wouldn't have had a huge problem with it if it just ended here. But the fact that he drug him 2 pay-per-views.
Yeah,
oh Lord.
That was unnecessary. Yeah. To take this all the way to SummerSlam. I mean, through King of the Ring. I'm not saying they worked at King of the Ring, but through King of the Ring to SummerSlam, you skipped another pay-per-view. This goes on from Royal Rumble till SummerSlam. Like, they're stuck together for like 8 months.
Yeah,
look at this. Look at this. Look at this sell job here. Oh, down to one knee, Undertaker.
I will say, though.
There it is. There's the rag. The rag of doom. Uh-oh. Boom! Headbutt to Paul Bearer. Bearer takes the best bump in the match so far. Harvey Whippleman thrown off the apron. And there it is. The rag full of chloroform, which Bobby Heenan has to sell. Because Bobby Heenan just knows what chloroform smells like.
I thought Jim Ross says it. I thought
Jim
Ross
he?
Points it out.
I thought it was Bobby here. Bobby's done it at some point in the past. I apologize if it was Jim Ross. Jim Ross would know what chloroform smells like.
Yeah. I will say the only thing that this thing really had going for it was the fact that going into this, the Undertaker's never ever looked weak at all.
Right.
And after Royal Rumble, he finally looked human. So the fact that hasn't happened before helped this a little bit. It's horrendous. I'm not defending it. I'm not saying this is good at all. There's no way.
Right. I get
the fact that the fact that the Giant Gonzalez could make him look weak and it hadn't been done before made you believe him as a threat to the Undertaker, at least at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, between that and the size, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it made sense.
Here, like, he had to actually put on a match, and there's nothing he can do. Like, he's very limited.
Yeah, if they didn't realize before WrestleMania that this wasn't going to work, they had to have realized it here. And Vince, just as determined as he could be, forces this shit to go all the way to SummerSlam for whatever ungodly reason. I'd like to think that the plan was to pivot to Mr. Hughes, but no, that SummerSlam match was announced before Mr. Hughes gets the boot. So this was the plan all along, to just continue this thing, ride this thing all the way through the summer.
Wow.
And I think on the house shows, it was basically they thought it was just a special feature attraction. You know what I mean? Because you have this gigantic guy. That's all it was. It didn't matter if the match was good or not. But think about that. Undertaker didn't just work him at WrestleMania and at SummerSlam. There were all those matches in between too. So I can see why he resented him a little bit. There's poor Jack Doan in a poor man's toga out there. He's not quite the referee yet. He's just the attendant getting ice cream shot in his face from Doink. There's a toga man, Rene Goulet.
Yeah. That's unfortunate for him.
Shit.
Who's this? Is this
Fonzie?
Fonzie?
Yeah, it's Fonzie selling like a ragdoll by Gonzalez. Fonzie gonna get the choke slam. Oh shit! On the back of the head. Poor Fonzie. Oh, you got knocked right down the middle, Daddy.
The post match. I don't mind. I always enjoyed Fonzie getting ragdolled and then Taker going out on his stretcher first time and maybe the only time. I can't think of any other time. I mean, I'm sure he has, but you didn't see this very often. And I think too, like another thing about this show, just in general, is you had the shitty finish in the Shawn match. You had the weird finish in Tatanka, or not Tatanka, but Crush and Doink.
Doink, right?
You had the reverse decision in the tag match. You had this garbage in this match. The Luger match had feet on the ropes. There's like no clean finishes.
Oh, that's not true. Razor Ramon got a clean finish.
Well, I mean, out of the major matches or the matches that actually.
Yeah, I got you.
It just doesn't feel like there's anything definitive on this show.
No, right? Yeah, it's definitely.
And even the end of this show.
Look at that! There you go, Giant Gonzalez rot. The old computer printout signs there. Oh, he's coming back. Wow, look at that, hands on the hips. Like, what, you got to be kidding me, Undertaker. Bearer coming back. He doesn't want Taker back in there. Look at him with his hands. Oh, Giant Gonzalez scared? What is going on? Now I'm morphing into Arnold here.
Are you Arnold? Yeah.
Undertaker. Put the cookie down. Oh, kicked him in the dick. Undertaker coming back with a clothesline. Look at that
the best part of the whole match.
So I love that. That's a GIF all day.
Oh yeah.
Boom. And he falls. He bumps.
Fish out of water, sell job.
Yeah. No, he's gonna.
Then he just stops moving to get some boots. Like, dude, just keep rolling. And he's selling that pretty good too. There, he's like, "Oh shit, I just fell on my back."
Harvey trying to get him
down. Like, how did he get me down?
What happened to you, Giant Gonzalez? Harvey's gonna. We got a bunch of cops out here now. What all these? Did they even realize this guy's part of the show?
Dude,
they have to, right? Look at the gear.
I love this. I love this cop, man, right there on the right.
Okay.
Smiling and laughing right in Giant Gonzalez's face when Undertaker gets announced as the winner.
If I was up against the guy dressed like that, I might laugh too. I don't know.
Oh my god. I think they're about to announce it.
The one guy was giving him the Steve Austin. He was like bobbing his head back and forth, yelling at him. One of the cops.
They don't want no part of this shit.
No, they're getting paid to do this. They're Strongbow.
Your boy Cheap Chick.
Yeah, Strongbow made it to WrestleMania. Well, that only leaves one match. Or at least I had hoped it only left one match, I think, on the show, but unfortunately that's not to be. There will be 2 more matches on the show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you will before the show's over. If you do know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about.
This kind of pissed me off here, too.
I can only imagine why. Mean Gene back here. He's going to do an interview. Not with Yokozuna and Mr. Fuji, the challengers for the WWF title. Not with WWF Champion Bret Hart, as you would customarily believe we would see here. No. Mean Gene's going to talk to someone completely different. I wonder why. And we're going to go back in time here. I think Mean Gene's going to throw it to maybe the contract signing. I think there's some footage here before we get to the promo. I think it's the contract signing where Yokozuna attacks Bret, gives him the bonsai drop. But we're setting up for the main event here, and neither main event wrestler, either guy in the match, even cuts the promo. This is, I'm not a big fan of any of this at all, Steve.
It made me mad I always why ain't they interviewing Bret? Like, the champ always gets an interview.
Well, here's Duggan. So we get the Duggan bonsai. There's the attack on Duggan. He took Duggan out for a couple months, at least, maybe a little more. 4 bonsai drops on Hacksaw.
Did they do anything with this? Like, was this a house show match, or did it happen over in Europe when Duggan came back?
They did some things over in Europe. I don't remember if they wrestled one-on-one at that particular time. I believe they go to the house shows. I haven't looked that deep into it. I know they touch on it then, and then we actually get the payoff of their on again off again feud ends at the SummerSlam Spectacular. Here's the contract signing. Yoko putting Bret in the corner. Gonna drop the bonsai. No. There's no officials. Boom, yes, the challenge taping.
Okay. How funny would that have been?
Yeah, that would have been awesome if they picked up the original contract signing Superstars version. Well, let's pick up this promo. Might as well, so everybody knows what we're talking about.
Right now are saying that yes, perhaps Yokozuna will be the new World Wrestling Federation champ. I'll tell you what, I can't think of a better individual who can share with us his perspective regarding just who is going to be the new World Wrestling Federation champion, 4-time champion himself. Hulk Hogan. Ted DiBiase said something about it. What in the world happened?
Well, you know something, Mean Gene? I just left the WWF Champion's dressing room, Bret the Hitman Hart, and the one thought I want to leave him with was that all the Hulkamaniacs and Hulk Hogan are in his corner. But the last couple months, these seem to be the times when people do step over the line. First off, with my bionic brother Brutus, and then last night, leaving the gym here in Vegas. I guess money can buy certain liberties around this town. They took it out on the Hulkster brother, but the little Hulkamaniacs pushed me towards the ring. Bret Hart. A warning to the wise, brother. You're a Hulkamaniac, and since so many people are stepping over the line, I want you to watch this Yokozuna and Mr. Fuji like a cat, brother. I want you to watch every move, and I also want you to know, brother, that me and all my Hulkamaniacs are on your side. But as I looked
into the eyes of Bret Hart just a few minutes ago, Mean Gene. I know the power of Hulkamania. I know the greatness of Hulkamania. And as I looked into Bret Hart's eyes, I even question Hulkamania's own greatness. That's why right now, Bret Hart, I'm issuing a challenge to either you or the Jap, brother. Whoever wins the WWF title, I want the first shot at it. But let me tell you something, Mean Gene. With me, all my Hulkamaniacs, and the attitude that Bret Hart has, I guarantee you, dude, the WWF title is staying right here in the WWF, right here in the US of A. And what you gonna do?
That's good enough for me. As a matter of fact, I'm calling the sports book right now. Ladies and gentlemen, standing by, our colleague Todd Pettengill out in the audience somewhere. Oh, my word. You.
Out in the audience somewhere. Okay, so, all I'm going to say about that promo was my first thought when I first saw this was, why isn't he already dressed and gone? It didn't make any sense to me, the Hulk Hogan, to do a promo before a main event that had nothing to do with him.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Here we are.
Understand why Hogan got. I don't understand why Hogan got interviewed in the first place.
Right. Here's the Toga brothers. They got shower curtains, literally shower curtains on from the hotel. And now they're going to drop elbow headbutts. Oh, he's falling. He took a bump. What a good sell. And Todd's like, I don't know what I just
Dude took a better bump than Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah. I wonder where those two guys are today. Probably dead from heroin. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, so you got any comments about that Hulk Hogan promo? I mean, all of a sudden Bret Hart's his buddy, and maybe Bret Hart's almost as bigger than Hulkamania, brother. I'll say anything to get what I want out of the end game, brother. It's all what it's all about, dude.
Bullshit. No, I just didn't make sense to me. The champion always gets interviewed before their match. That's how it was every other WrestleMania. So why didn't it happen here? That was my first question. I even questioned, I'm like, why ain't they talking to Bret? Like, why is Hogan here? So it didn't make any sense. It should have a little foreshadowing to a degree on what's to come. But I don't know, man. I feel bad for Bret and Yoko and those guys. They're kind of getting overshadowed here by the Hulkster. And Bret, with the point of, it felt like they spent the whole year or, the year leading up to this, changing the philosophy of the business. And this dude just comes in and completely flips the coin on them and takes it back to where they were before. And you feel like it was for nothing. And I can see that. I can understand that sentiment. So just a bad situation.
Yeah, and we could talk a little bit about it during this. Yeah, we can talk about it a little bit during this match too, because obviously I think everybody already knows what's going to happen here. For those who don't, I mean, where have you been by this point?
Everybody hates this.
Yeah, and I hated it on a large scale way back when. I mean, when it happened, I was not there. It's Bret coming out, doing the best he can. I mean, he's main eventing his first WrestleMania as the champion, as a main eventer. Last year it was Piper.
I love that they did that.
Yeah, it was an excellently executed entrance by the cameraman.
When they zoom in on him as he's coming out. I don't know if they did that because they did the same thing at 10 too. So I don't know if it was just a Bret thing or if everybody got that treatment, but it looks good.
So
this is like one of my favorite gears for him. The pink, the all pink like that.
Right. Few stories here to touch on throughout this match. Bret, I think, was it the Yoko documentary where Bret says Yoko gets gassed here and
Bret says
he cuts out
he can.
Yeah, cuts out however many minutes of the match and goes into the finish too early. The true story there, from everything I've gathered, is they were short on time, and that was the time that was allotted left to do what they needed to do after the match. So I think Bret's version isn't necessarily the true version. It wasn't Yoko ran out of gas here or maybe forgot spots or whatever, because Bret's like, I put together this match and we only did the first half of it. We didn't do the second half of it because Yoko ran out of gas and he took it home. And since then it's pretty much been documented by almost everyone else that there was no time left on the show, and this is how much time you guys said.
Well, to be fair, like, 14 minutes and 14 minutes exactly right now left on this show. So how do you have a 20-minute match booked when there's only 14 minutes left? But when Yoko doesn't even have his gear off.
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense. It's a time hours, which pay-per-view time you really only have about 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Just to be safe, because you don't want to pull Bischoff and go over and get pulled. So I without looking, he's probably just saying this to say it.
That might be the way he remembers it too. I mean, it's Bret. So
I mean, it could be, but I mean, it's just we've talked about this a lot, that people, like, especially wrestlers, they'll say things. They think you'll just take it for what at their word,
right,
and not double check it. All it takes is just turn this damn show on and see that there's only 20 minutes left or 13 minutes left, and Yoko's doing his first squat. So really no time left.
Yeah.
And then, like, Jake saying he's going to take out Warrior with the roll of quarters at the Hall of Fame, and then you see him and he comes up and gives him a giant hug and is talking to him and enjoying his time with him. So it's like,
nice
you're
drop
full
kick
of
by
shit.
Bret. I like that Bret comes right at him right here. No, I hear you, dude. I mean, I agree with you 100%. But that's been going on forever. That's been going on since before, the internet really took off or anything like that. Before anybody, and I would even call bullshit back then, back before you could really prove it. I'd say that doesn't make sense because of this or because of that. These guys got away with it for decades and decades, Carney-like, because there was no one to call them out. There's no proof. And now it's like right there, boom, Bret, ooh, nice. Tried to go behind. He couldn't get his hands around the waist of Yokozuna. Oh, plowed him over. Yosh. Hitman takes a bump there. You know what Vince would say.
Now that is raw.
Now that was raw. Yokozuna just plowed Hitman over.
I will say, though, like,
that looked like a stiff kick, too.
His heat should be with Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
We all know he has heat there. But Bret probably could have got his whole match in if Hogan didn't have to do the shit that he was going to do at the end of this.
Oh, look at that. Nice trip up, too. I like this so far. Very good stuff. Hitman looks like he's going to slingshot into the ring on top. Not exactly Rick Martel-esque, but it worked for what Bret was going for. I like that trip up in the ropes there, tying Yoko up. No, yeah, you got to. You can go back to the Hogan match. I'm sure that went longer than possibly it was supposed to.
Yeah, it's probably. Yeah. But they should have cut out some of that Giant Gonzalez shit and
like the whole thing.
Champion
she just came straight to the ring and did the chloroform spot.
See, like, you mentioned it earlier, but it went 4 minutes out, and this match has 20 minutes. The whole end of the show has 20 minutes instead of 14. If you got rid of the Razor match, this is the problem with these. Starting with 8 all the way up till, and then
to win.
I won't necessarily 11. I won't necessarily count 12 because the main event had enough time to do what it needed to do. Obviously, because you set the time, so you have to book for that. Even 13, but some of these WrestleManias, like the 3-hour ones, are just rushed to the max because things have to get cut or matches get short. And
right.
Guys miss the card. Like Bam Bam and Kamala was supposed to be on this.
Right.
Bulldog and who was it? Berserker was supposed to be on WrestleMania 8. Next year it's the 8-man tag. So matches get cut out and eliminated, and you're trying to cut time. It's like book maybe 2 less matches altogether and give everything time that you need it, or pay for the extra hour.
Yeah, WrestleMania 10. They did the. They went right into that Quake and Atom Bomb. Basically became a squash match instead of a competitive match. And then they completely edited out cut out the 10-man tag. And then so they gave both those matches, they put them on Raw the following week or whatever it was. So they gave them those matches, but they weren't really WrestleMania anymore. So it kind of sucked for all those guys. But a lot of that was Shawn and Razor. And at the same time, can you really shit on them? Like, well, I'd rather see that ladder match than that 10-man tag. So, but I'm not saying it was right. I mean, Shawn did that plenty of times. I mean, you look at WrestleMania 8, the reason a lot of times it was a selfish situation though. WrestleMania 8, for instance, the Bulldog and Berserker match didn't go on. And I'm not saying it was the only reason, but one of the reasons, because the early part of the show went so long, and probably a lot of it was Savage and Flair would be my guess. But DiBiase and IRS against the natural disasters, which didn't need to go more than 3 minutes in my world, they were told, you guys' match is cut down. You're going out there. You're doing X amount of minutes. Go out there and do that. And they kind of called bullshit. DiBiase was like, bullshit. We're going to go out there and we're going to go do our match. And so then when you get selfish like that, you're still screwing the guy that's next in line after you. And, you know, that's unfortunate that kind of stuff happens. And then you get guys with egos like Bulldog. When they told Bulldog, you go out there and you're going to throw the Berserker up in a power slam and beat him 1 minute. And Bulldog says, I don't do 1 minute matches. Like, who the fuck are you? You're getting paid no matter how long your match goes. And it's going to make you look like the badass. You're beating the Berserker in a minute. I don't do 1 minute matches. And Skinner stands up and says, I do. And that's why we got Skinner and Owen on WrestleMania instead of, because Skinner ain't no fool. He's just like, pay me, man. Oh, there's a bump. Bret Hart looked like he was jumping on him for a sleep. Skinner knows what's up, man.
Skinner's living off Memphis money. Payday. Yeah. Shit. Like, that's dumb. I mean, that doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, Diesel said it all. Nash said it all the time. I don't get paid by the hour. Go out there and get done. If you have to get done in 2 minutes, get done in 2 minutes. Who cares? Yeah, it might have just been Davey trying to call somebody's bluff too. Like, maybe if I call bullshit, they'll give me an extra couple of minutes just to showcase myself out there. I mean, I get what he was going for, but I'm not a big fan. I hate to talk about all this over top of the main event of WrestleMania 9 here, because Yoko, this is like Yoko's prime. He's still moving around. He's still like a beast. He's still getting it done. He's not, well, now he's putting on the trapeze hold, so maybe not so much anymore. He's a shell of himself by WrestleMania 10, I'll tell you that, compared to this match. Although Bret does get a decent little bit out of him there. Luger certainly doesn't, but it's Luger. He's not calling a match. Yeah, this is also too. Bret did the same thing at some before, went along with Owen, so he got less of Taker versus Taker.
Well, that was the only time I ever condoned somebody going long when they shouldn't have. Was when Bret and Owen went like freaking 10 minutes, 15 minutes longer than they were supposed to. And then Undertaker's match, which I can't believe it was supposed to go like 20-some minutes. Could you imagine that? Just the 12 minutes or whatever it was they go was just way too long for me.
Backsplash.
Yeah, here comes the Bulldog. Boom!
This is
right on his thigh.
Where Bret's story kind of falls apart. Yoko doesn't look winded at all. He hasn't done much, but he doesn't look winded to the point where he can't go 10 extra minutes.
Right. Bret going into it's Bret doing the 5 moves of doom here, so. Yoko kicking out now. What's Bret coming in and he's setting him up for something here. I don't know these.
Clothesline.
Oh, clothesline, yeah. Not too bad. Yoko reaching for, I don't know what he's reaching for there. Boom! Takes him out with the old heart attack clothesline. There was no anvil there, so maybe that's why Yoko's right back up.
I don't care what anybody says. He's so damn entertaining every single time. Like, if you just get away from the bitterness and the just beat Bret being Bret and just watch his matches, man. There's very few people better than him.
He's trying to rip that turnbuckle pad off. There it goes. Oh no, Bret's definitely. I mean, wrestling wise, fundamentally, he's one of the best. I mean, everything he does makes sense. Everything he does looks real. I mean, he did an excellent job in the ring. Yoko eats the exposed buckle there.
Here we go. We're going to the.
Oh boy.
I'll quickly get this in because I know you guys soundbite coming up here, but I don't know if you've seen the story about Natalya talking about how she told Roman what Bret said, or told Bret what Roman said about him. But I guess Roman loved him because he was like the working man's champion. He's a blue collar champion, and that he like everything he did was just workmanlike, where it was so believable.
Boom! Salt in the eyes.
And I could see that, and he's good, man. I believe everything he did because he never did anything that looked phony. 2, 3, that's it. Yokozuna, the new WWF champion. I love how Yoko did nothing to like. I figured he would have dropped the leg or do something real quick. Yeah.
Look at this. Was he already halfway to ringside by the time there was a 3 count? This guy's in the fucking ring before Yokozuna can even stand up to get the belt.
He's in the ring before he could even get the belt on his shoulder.
What a piece of shit. Oh, he saw the 3 count, brother. He was in the ring. Uh-oh, let's try to pick this up. Here we go.
Mr. Fuji. Mr. Fuji on. Trying to talk to. Mr. Fuji, we're trying to listen and pick up what he's saying here, ladies and gentlemen.
My Yokozuna, issue your challenge. If any intestinal fortitude, you would accept my Yokozuna challenge. Come on! Come on, you yellow belly, come on!
So Fuji says his Yokozuna's issuing a...
Come on, you yellow belly. Yellow and red belly.
Yeah, I bet you...
This is
Brett's
something
happy.
else. Brett?
I bet Brett's happy he took the assault gimmick so he didn't have to sit back and watch this shit.
Yeah, no doubt. Here's Brett. So none of this made any sense to me. They issue Hogan a challenge just because he comes out here. As soon as they win the belt, none of this makes sense. Vince liked it, obviously, when Hogan pitched it with his great idea.
Is that Linda? Dude, I think that was Linda in the green back there.
Oh, his wife, yeah.
I think
Brett telling Hogan to go on, Hogan,
Yep.
go on and go do it.
That is them.
Me? Who? Me? Look at him looking around like a bitch. Looking around. Me? You want me to go in there?
Really, really?
Now, how is this legal? If this is a match, if this is a legal title match, how can Fuji stand here and do this? And the referee, boom, salt in the eyes of Yokozuna. Down goes Fuji. Of course, down goes Yokozuna. And
he rang the bell after the salt gimmick happened.
Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, whatever you say. Hulk Hogan, new WWF champion.
Look at the crowd, though.
They witnessed a title change.
It's shit. Yeah,
dude,
it's the title.
The crowd exploded when Jack Swagger cashed in the fucking belt and won the title. I mean, I'm not going off of the crowd popping because it's Hulk Hogan. They just saw somebody beat Yokozuna back for the belt. They saw a impromptu title match. None of this shit had ever happened before. Unfortunately, it happens with Hulk Hogan, of all people. So it just kind of ruins the whole damn thing. So here we are. The dude's been back a month, and he's already WWF champion based on false promises and lies. I got an idea, dude. How about I win the belt, and then I'll drop it back to Bret Hart myself, brother, at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
of course, immediately after WrestleMania, he had a new idea immediately after WrestleMania. How about I don't drop the belt to Bret Hart? Nah, not going to happen. That's not a good idea for me, brother.
Oh,
and here he is selling.
There's a lot to unpack here.
So just going back to me back then, 1993 me, first I was upset Yoko won. I like Bret Hart, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't just because it was Bret Hart. It was because I didn't like heel champions. I didn't like slow, methodical crap. I didn't like the Yokozuna gimmick necessarily. So I was just like, oh, that's boring. That sucks. Bret Hart was more, I hate to call Bret flashy because he was anything but flashy, but he was pink and he had the shades. You know what I mean? I mean, like he was
cool.
Yeah. And he wrestled. So I like Bret Hart. I like the Hart Foundation. So I'd followed Bret for years. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm on board with that. Yokozuna, I was like, oh, then this happened. And it was like it went from like being bummed out to a hatred. So I went from being like, darn, the guy I liked lost and the guy I'm not a big fan of won. And now he's the champion. How's this going to turn out to? And then I see this happen. And then my sadness turns to anger. I'm just like, anybody but this fuck. Like, give it back to Yokozuna. Seriously, at this point.
I was the complete opposite. So I was a little bit younger, and I like Bret Hart. The Yoko, I had the same sort of question, like who's going to stop him, who can beat him. Those same sort of questions there. But the Hogan stuff, like I was still young enough to like be a fan of him. I didn't know any different. Because that's all I knew was Hulk Hogan era. Because I mean, you go to the Coliseum videos and rent them at the video store. There's a lot of Hogan era stuff. A lot of the '92 stuff I didn't really have access to. So all I really watched was the Hogan stuff. That's all I could get my hands on. So I didn't mind it. I didn't care as a kid. Now I get it. I understand like why people don't like it. Even Hogan, and I don't know if he just said it the way he said it because he's trying to change the narrative a little bit,
right?
But in that Yoko doc, it kind of sounded like I had an idea It wasn't a good one. That's how.
Yeah, he did on the Yokozuna documentary. Yeah, he does basically say it was a bad idea. Like he made a bad idea.
Yeah.
Do you really think 1993 Hogan thought that was a bad idea once he won the belt? No, absolutely not.
I think now, like looking back, maybe he's doing some inner soul searching or something.
I don't think that guy knows how to do that.
I don't think so either, but
I think he understands that everyone else thinks it's stupid, and that's what they want to hear. So he's like, yeah. I mean, I'm just going to go along with that, brother.
Yeah, I'd like to think that was why he did it. I know it's not. It's just him trying to change the narrative on something people don't like him for. I think if it played out the way it was supposed to, with him dropping the belt to Bret at SummerSlam, that could have been like the passing of the torch from the old generation to the new one, and it could have really helped Bret Hart. But to get King of the Ring,
I don't believe for a second that Hogan ever had any intention. Of dropping the belt to Bret Hart. I think Hogan knew the right thing to say. Yeah, I think he knew the exact right thing to say to sway Vince McMahon. To make everybody happy. Yeah. Well, if I tell him I'll drop it back to Bret, then he'll think he'll have a bigger star on his hand. If Hulk Hogan does the job to Bret Hart, they'll give me the belt because that's a bigger deal, brother.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the business side of it sucks. But I guess I can compartmentalize. Like I can watch it from 6-year-old perspective that I had as a kid, and it's just nostalgia for me. So I don't mind it at all. I don't care to watch it. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't upset me that Hogan did it. It's whatever. Like I just accept it for what it is and move on. But the business side, I can see why nobody would like it business-wise, and I can see why Bret doesn't like Hogan for the stupid stuff that he did here. This probably started it. He didn't like it then. Then all the shit in WCW, I'm sure, left a more sour note in his mouth. So I get it. I understand it, and I'm not going to say it's good or was a bad idea, but Vince was struggling at this time, big time. Like, the roster's crap. We've talked about this. He's about to go on trial. He's probably looking to people that he can absolutely trust, and who's the man that made him the most money ever up to this point? It was Hogan. So if he's looking to get like a quick cash grab, he's probably vulnerable and was going to listen to anything. And if Hogan came to, hey, I got an idea. Oh, that sounds pretty good, even though it was full of shit. Vince probably took it because he thought he could probably get better business out of it compared to a Yoko or another Bret Hart title run. So
if it played out the way it was pitched, it would have been great. But
I think so too.
It doesn't even come close to that. It's basically immediately after this, they realize the next day that it's not going to play. Yeah, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm not doing that anymore. Well,
and then like he just was getting booed, and dude, I always like I didn't record him, so I kind of forgot over time until I finally was able to like watch him on the network or whatever. But he just disappears. He's not even on TV as the champion. I know they go overseas and everything for the Europe tour, and I get that, but
I don't think he's on this Europe tour. He's on the next Europe tour. He's not even on this one. He goes and films. No, he films Thunder in Paradise, I think, immediately after this. It's either, I believe it's either Thunder in Paradise or Mr. Nanny or something like that. But immediately after WrestleMania, I think he goes and films shit.
Wow. So he had this harebrained idea, and
harebrained, brother.
He's not even on TV to sell it or to even make them money.
Meanwhile, Bret's there every night, busting his ass it's terrible.
And so is Yoko.
Yeah. I mean, for that matter, I mean, if you're going to change the belt, I guess I would have left it on Yoko before I would have gave it to Hogan. I think that's what killed me was I didn't know the inside workings of the business and what was going on behind the scenes at the time. No, I wasn't a Hogan fan, but it was like, we got over this. We're past this. We're in a new generation, so to speak, if you will. And that's back to the same old shit. Right back to the same old shit. That's how it felt for me. Like I wasn't in the company, but for me in my mind, I worked so hard to get past this because I was a fan, right? So I'm riding along with them. We worked so hard to get past this shit, and then here it is right in our fucking face again. Didn't even see it coming because he had already worked earlier on the show. That's how his mind was. He had already worked, a tag team title match. That's what he was going. Him and Brutus were friends to the end. They're going to be a team now, brother. No, that was just bullshit to get to where we are at right here at the end of WrestleMania IX.
Yeah, that's the other part too, is that you've been training this audience for a year that the Hogan cartoon gimmick stuff is gone. We're developing, or we're bringing in more natural just talent based off of themselves, like Bret, Yoko. I know he has somewhat of a gimmick, but what else is he going to do, you know? And Shawn is Shawn. And then you got Diesel coming, Mr. Perfect, Luger, a bunch of natural guys that aren't cartoony and gimmicky and just big guys. It's talent that can work, and we're shifting gears here. Then Hogan just seems like he reverts it back 2 years ago, and all that work was for nothing. So now you got to retrain your audience once again when he's gone, that he's not coming back this time. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, works for me. Unfortunately, it's still a few months off, but we'll be back really soon with another episode of the Memory Grenade. I hope you guys have been enjoying these pay-per-views. We did the Royal Rumble. Now we've done WrestleMania. The WWF adds a fifth pay-per-view to their lineup. It's coming up in June. It'll be called King of the Ring, and that should be a fun one.
Can't wait for this one.
Good matches, I think, at least in the tournament area of the pay-per-view anyway. And Hulk Hogan is on the show. So for anybody like
we say goodbye. We say goodbye to Hulk Hogan.
And the Hulk Hogan fan who always gets the good seats around ringside and whatever. I love him front and center for that match because I love his reaction to the finish.
We have already picked up and seen him on the Monday Warfare. So he's there. So we've already talked about him, but we'll see him here too. But yeah, it's quite the endeavor. But we're getting there. I can't wait for King of the Ring, man. It's a really, really good show.
But in order to get to King of the Ring,
Center?
Yeah, the Nutter Center, Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, I don't think that's there anymore. But it was an odd place.
Should have won.
It's an odd choice of an arena for a pay-per-view especially, but that's where they go. But yeah, before we get there, King of the Ring, obviously in the middle of June, we got a long ways to get there. So we got to go through April and May of WWF television. So we got a couple shows ahead of King of the Ring. In fact, we've got 3 shows at least that I know of ahead of King of the Ring, if not more, because we're going to do another watch along in a couple weeks, Steve, but we're going to leave that as a surprise. We'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that next week when we cover April of 1993 in the WWF. I really hope you guys enjoyed this watch along of WrestleMania IX. It was a lot more fun than I ever anticipated it being because I had some good conversation here about what was going on there and just everything else as well.
Yeah, these shows fly by when we're talking and just shooting the shit pretty much, talking about what's going on and then whatever pops up to our heads. So it was fun. I like this show. I thought we touched on the important parts that were necessary and where the whole show went wrong. But no, it was fun, man. I can't wait till the next one.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. So we hope to see you guys back, or hope you guys come back again next week for more Wrestling Memory Grenade when we take a look at April of 1993 in the WWF. It's the fallout from WrestleMania IX. Hulk Hogan is champion now, though he's nowhere to be found. And there's a whole lot more to go besides that as well in the company. We're heading into the end of the spring. We're coming into the summer and King of the Ring and SummerSlam, and it's just going to get better and better as more talent begins to make their debuts and wander into the company. So as we lose some of the old time guys, we're starting to come into a lot of the new era of stars. So more upbeat wrestling action, I would say, and a whole lot more. So Steve, thanks, man. I really appreciate you here for WrestleMania IX, the dark match, and on all the matches on the pay-per-view and beyond. You know, I totally forgot to mention, because you did mention it briefly in one of the matches on the actual pay-per-view, there was a match missing from the pay-per-view. That was Bam Bam Bigelow scheduled to take on Kamala. They run out of time, like we were talking about, and these matches get cut. That was the match that got cut. I know we talked about it briefly earlier. What I didn't mention was, if you ever watched the old Coliseum video version, which I have, after WrestleMania ends, after Hulk Hogan wins the title, they cut to a clip backstage in the back. It's Kamala playing with an elephant. Yes, Kamala's playing with an elephant, and then there's some subtitles or some whatever going across the bottom of the screen, basically mentioning that due to circumstances beyond our control, meaning the time, the Kamala versus Bam Bam match was canceled from the pay-per-view. But Kamala had a great time playing with his jungle friends, Steve. So we know that much. Kamala got to play with his jungle friends.
I'm sure he was happy with that. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he's not happy about missing the payday, but I'm sure he had fun back there with the animals.
Well, I hope he got a couple bucks for appearing at the end of the WrestleMania Coliseum video at the very least. Good old Jim Harris there. R.I.P. sir. And Bam Bam for that matter. But yeah. So that was our missing match for anybody wondering, wait, what happened to that match? You guys promised that match. It wasn't us that didn't deliver. The WWF simply couldn't fit it on the show, what with Hulk Hogan needing to work 2 matches there, if you want to call that second match a match anyway. But I appreciate you, Steve, for being here. WrestleMania 9 in the books. It didn't take long to get here. It was a lot better than I anticipated, and just appreciate you being here, man.
It was my pleasure, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I have no idea what's coming up next here in April in the WWF. I'm curious to where they pivot, what kind of house show lineups they have coming up, and all this other good stuff. So we hope you guys will be back here again next week. More WWF goodness from 1993. Can't believe I'm saying that. On the way.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey guys, just want to say thank you again for joining Steve and I as we have more watch-alongs on the way as we continue through 1993 here on The Grenade Show, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, but we also plan to add multiple watch-along specials to our Patreon account. In the coming weeks, we'll be adding some house shows that maybe we'll be able to tell you how to get your hands on those house shows to watch along with us, as well as some of the USA specials like March to WrestleMania 9. So you guys want to keep checking back to our Patreon account for all new watch-along videos and our watch-along series over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. And that $5 tier is what you want to hit. That's the all-access tier. Yes, we do have 14 tiers of goodies, but the $5 tier is my personal favorite to shill because it's all access. You get everything from every tier below the $5 tier, as well as our entire Patreon watch-along series, which covers everything from several Saturday Night's Main Events to Clash of the Champions to tons of WCW and WWF pay-per-views from the Monday Night War era. They make great complimentary pieces to our Monday Warfare podcast, by the way, but they're great standalones as well to Coliseum home videos and everything in between. Like I said, we'll be adding things from 1993 here in the WWF as part of that watch-along series, USA specials, and other things of that nature. And all right, with all of that out of the way, it's time once again, time to say goodbye, but we will return next week. And until that time, this is Ray Russell for my co-host this week, Steven Eckstadt, saying from pillar to post and coast to coast, you pull the pin and we'll pick up the pieces right here on the Wrestling Memory Grenade. See you next week. Don't miss it. Be there.
And as I looked into Bret Hart's eyes, I even questioned Hulkamania's own greatness. That's why right now, Bret Hart, I'm issuing a challenge to either you or the Jap, brother.